somewhat. I'm all right. Welcome to the Game of the Year episode of the Leftover Pants podcast. This is Matt. Dave is here. Justin, I have a headache. Teddy can't be with us tonight. He gives you his apologies. He really wanted to be here for the Game of the Year episode, but he can't be because work is important and he has a business to run. But that's okay. We're going to have a really good, thick, girthy fucking Game of the Year conversation tonight. It's a 2017 episode. You're going to really feel all of it, okay? So, take it. You're going to love it. Okay. Bad jokes aside. Had some, but we're going to leave them off. So, Game of the Year conversation tonight might be our last episode of the year. You were off for most of December. We probably could squeeze in another one if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
Dave's always invited, obviously. Did you say no? Okay. So, anyway, Game of the Year 2017 may or may not be the last episode of the Leftover Pants podcast. Some house cleaning before we continue, okay? So, it's been pretty much obvious since July that our first ever PANT champ is sitting to my right, Matt Belrose. He has won the Leftover Pants, the first annual Leftover Pants championship. In the new year, we will have actual champ pants made for you. We were going to have like a championship belt, but we're going to do champ pants. Was that your idea?
Champ. I feel like it was.
It might have been his idea.
And
he also came up with a good idea the other day, which I'm going to totally steal. He said, you guys should do a shorter... you guys should do a shorter, separate show called Leftover Shorts. I thought it was funny.
You've got to run with pants, man. You've got...
All right.
He tells me that while I'm at work. I'm like, yeah, keep that one. Okay, so we're going to have some champ pants made out for you. You're going to wear them every episode.
I sure
and
am.
Showcase them and really, like, be like, bro, I'm the
Are
champ.
they going to be like windbreaker pants?
I don't know
Or are
yet.
they going to be like
This is going to be like,
actual,
what is it, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants?
Yeah, it'll be
That's
something weird.
Type like that.
And then whoever wins next year, 1 year from now, you can't wash them. So, like, if you lose, you're going to be like, here you go, bro. Like, Teddy, it's all yours.
But see, the problem is my legs are significantly smaller.
Exactly,
than
which will make it funny for Teddy if he wins next year.
This would be wonderful. I feel like they should be your old pants, like a pair
You
that
could
you
do that.
just
Just
don't
put like
wear
crayon
anymore.
on them and stuff, and
He's
leftover
wearing
pants.
these parachute pants.
Parachute pants. They were big when I was in school.
I wasn't alive.
Do you know who MC Hammer is?
No.
Okay.
But I know you
MC
can't touch
Hammer
it.
action figure.
I know you can't touch this.
So, quick little story. I did work at a retail location at one
That's
point.
how he dances, yes.
And so this is how far the mighty have fallen, is that there are three, what are the office supply, is it three, not 3MB, that's a wrestling organization. 3M hired MC Hammer, and on the side of like their little siding for binders, it says it's Hammer time, and it has him going. And I'm like, and he's also like 55 years old.
I would buy that.
Anyway, Leftover Pants Podcast Game of the Year edition. Couple things. So this is the itinerary for
Brought to
tonight.
you by 3M.
Brought to you by 3M unofficially, but we're going to plug them anyway. So, we're all going to... You don't have to be limited. I know you might have a list. Dave plays a lot of games. I don't know if you heard. So, we're going to bring up our second runner-up. We'll go in order. Then our runner-up for Game of the Year. And then our official Game of the Year. We won't obviously have one official Game of the Year for Leftover Pants because one, nobody reads or watches us. And we don't count. And it's just for fun, and it's just our personal opinions on what our favorite game was for the year.
Because nothing's objective when it comes to games. Anyways.
Yeah. Except for microtransactions. Just kidding.
That's true, though.
It was a good episode last time. And we're going to talk in depth, and we're just going to kind of like bleed out the mouth and fucking vomit nerdiness for the next probably couple hours. And yeah.
Say, that seems a bit vulgar.
It's delicious.
My friend.
I promise. And
This is going to quickly turn into a snuff film.
at the end, we have something kind of different for what do we call it? Quiztacular, that's what we call it.
Since I've already won.
Yeah, you've already won for the year. We're not going to do Quiztacular, we're going to do something different.
That's why Teddy isn't here, actually. It's
He's
shame.
a shame. So right after this, we're going to get started. Zipper up!
There you go.
I always get a kick out of these pre-cut parts. I'll be walking back and being like, is it in focus while I'm like cutting it? And like, sometimes I just don't believe it, man.
Just constantly you saying, it's not right, Matt. It's not right.
Because sometimes we
It's
get
not
like
right.
this much of Teddy. We get like Teddy's half of his face. Like Matt's all in here like in the middle of the fucking...
It's fine. It's fine, guys.
So I gotta like zoom in. Whatever. Okay. So... We're gonna leave all this in.
Dickhead, just keep going.
Matt, what have you been playing lately?
Xenoblade. And
Xenoblade what?
Xenoblade 2 just came out.
Xenoblade
December
Chronicles
1st.
2 on Switch?
Yep.
You took time off from work to play it, huh?
I did.
Was it good?
It was alright.
Are you checking text messages?
No, I'm actually bringing up my list. I'm preparing.
He's always the utmost professional. Okay.
He's on it.
Continue.
No, I've been playing some Xenoblade 2.
How was it?
A tiny bit of Mario. Xenoblade 2, it's like alright.
Just alright.
Yeah, that's pretty much my gauge on it at the moment. I'm 20 hours in.
You should know by now.
So, what it's very much feeling like is it needed about another 6 months to a year.
I like how you trimmed up your goatee.
Thanks.
It looks nice.
You haven't seen me since then?
No.
Interesting. Yeah, I did that on like Wednesday.
Very
Well,
Orlando Bloom. It's very Orlando Bloom.
Looks nice.
Thanks.
I had to trim mine and you did as well.
Keep it professional.
Mine was getting a little,
Yeah.
Man, I fix it.
But yeah, Xenoblade 2 is pretty much just alright. It needed about another 6 months to a year.
Well, remember we thought for sure that was the #1 game that was going to be delayed this year.
Right,
We thought
and
there
it
was
didn't
no
get
chance
delayed.
in hell because the first one took forever.
And it should have.
And
Yeah.
it should have. It should have gotten fucking delayed.
So why should it have? Is it just does it feel unfinished? What's the battle system like?
It literally feels unfinished.
Ugh.
Like they made the entire game and they're like they got as far as the characters, the story, and then the combat, and that was it.
So let's be
That
honest.
was like it. And then as far as doing things like animation or graphical touch up or like loading screens or like consistency in content, just out the fucking window.
I do love because he was showing me this before
I was showing him all the stuff.
It's amazing because when it loads lightning quick to his credit, but the problem is like
Nothing
you
better.
see the character
Oh no.
and the world isn't
nothing.
there.
Oh.
And then the land comes in and then the walls come up, and then
no.
you see the actual pieces of the world come
It'll
in,
be fixed.
and it doesn't even
It's not there.
it doesn't render.
And granted, it doesn't take it a long time to recover from it, but it takes it like long enough so you see it happening, and you're like, wow, that's really disappointing.
It's like when in Assassin's Creed Origins when you show up and it kind of goes out.
Oh,
and you
that's
see
by
it.
design, of course.
But
It's by
it's
design.
like if they didn't
Yeah.
make it on purpose.
Which that is always very disorienting when like you load into the game if you're like on like what are the panoramic view, what are they called?
The eagle
Yeah.
sync points.
Yeah.
So like if you're looking like over the ocean or something and it goes whoosh, I always get like whoa for a minute, like kind of off kilter. But anyway, Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, and then there's like stupid omissions that were blatantly obvious, but for some reason they were just not there. Like the omission of tutorials. You know how Xenoblade games typically are very complicated and they have in-depth battle systems and like everything is very fine-tuned and you need to very much know what's going on? Well, there's no fucking tutorials on the game in the fucking game. It's ridiculous. There's no tutorial how combos work. Fucking huge heads up. All of, whenever you're playing this game, if you buy it, there's no tutorials on how to play this thing. Have Google ready all the time.
I remember in my day we didn't have tutorials in video games.
No, but at least you got a booklet that
fucking-
explains shit, though.
I'm just fucking.
You don't even
There's
get
no
that.
booklet in this special edition?
No, you get a fucking giant art book and a soundtrack. And then the compass just doesn't work. Like,
So the game's clearly unfinished.
yeah.
That, with the amount of content they have coming on the season pass, they better damn well fix the game
For real,
before
though.
that shit comes out.
Oh.
Hey,
And the voice acting is subpar, and then the animation that goes along with the voice acting is kind of subpar, and just like really brings it down. But the story's phenomenal, and the combat's phenomenal.
well that's good.
It's
at least.
just.
Let's interrupt. It's December 3rd.
No,
Where's
it's
the?
December 2nd.
Well, by the time they watch this, it'll be December 3rd.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Where's the Zelda expansion? Like, kind of running out of time. They said it's definitely 2017.
Yeah, I think it'll probably come by the end of the month.
I wonder if it's not going to be good.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
No,
Christmas.
I think it's gonna be really good.
Well, you would.
I think it's gonna be.
Let's
Is
see.
that an
I do too.
overstatement?
I do too.
Did you play?
Everybody's saying it's like a go back in time expansion. Like you go back in time to when Hyrule wasn't fucked up right before Ganon fucks shit up. That's what everybody's
Okay.
saying, and I'm totally
Well,
digging that.
They
Go to
did
Hyrule,
allude to it in
like Castletown and shit. Oh my god.
Did either of you play the
first one.
first one? The first
The
expansion?
Yeah, I played it. Did you play it at all?
No. I
I
have zero interest in that. Like it's like, oh, it's just challenge mode. It's like, oh,
Well, you have to buy the
Fuck
two
that.
together anyway.
I know.
So
It's hard
why not
as
just wait?
fuck.
And I need an incentive to buy it, so I'll wait and see if
Yeah.
the expansion is
Honestly, if you
Yes.
weren't like keen on challenge mode, totally cool, but you're probably gonna want to buy it for the story expansion that's coming up. But challenge mode was basically like you go to where you get the Master Sword. Spoiler alert. You go to where you get the Master Sword, and then the fucking Deku Tree's like, "Hey, brah, want to power up that shit?" And then you're like, "Obviously." And then
I want
And then
this
he-
to be the actual voiceover.
and then he transports you into like basically this Colosseum-esque situation where it puts you in different environmental variables. Like you'll be naked and it'll be snowing,
Yeah, I don't know.
and there will be like one campfire with a shitload of like bokoblins and stuff around it, and they all have spears, so they're all swinging them, and you have to figure out how to like knock the tree down on the bokoblins, knock them down, grab a spear, jab them, and
Let's
then
be
like
honest.
catch something on fire to warm up.
That game was hard enough as it was. So, in a good way.
Yeah,
But
So-
challenge mode, I'm with you. I'm good.
Yeah.
yeah, but
I
it's,
do want more content though.
I never beat it. Fun fact.
Wait. Oh, the
I never
expansion.
beat the challenge
The
mode.
expansion.
Yeah, I never beat the expansion.
Whoa.
That would be a bombshell.
Well, Teddy comes in here last time. Love you, Ted. He's like, never played Mario 64. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, at least played Super Mario Galaxy. He's like, so fun fact, never played Super Mario Galaxy. I'm like, oh, right in the balls.
And that's the real reason why Teddy isn't here.
Dave,
So,
what have you been playing?
I've
Jesus Christ.
I've got a few that I can mention at least. I mean,
Can you only tell us the games that you played more than 2 hours of? Well, that's the key.
most impressively, I've beaten Assassin's Creed.
Right in the
You
dick.
you
Oh,
like
really?
that one?
Do tell.
Why?
Because,
You Assassin's
goddamn.
Creed. Holy shit, that's crazy.
No, dude.
Holy fuck.
He put in his time in that too, because we've been talking
Yeah.
about it.
Like, you and I took very different routes, from what I understand.
I did almost 100% the map. I got all the. I didn't do it the same as you because the quests mean nothing. The side quests. Okay, I don't mean to take your spot, but the side quests mean nothing. So I did all the towers, all the fucking rock formations or whatever, the star formations, constellations, one might say, and basically all the stuff on the map, other than the tombs. The tombs are the only thing I didn't do.
Yeah.
So you,
But you did those, like, you did the storyline first, didn't you?
yes,
Yeah.
and I took Kotaku's advice on that, which I'm kind of happy that I did, but
Because I did the opposite. I did
was it a little tough?
everything. By the time that I was, like, I did a couple missions, like, right after I met Cleopatra, I just did everything else. And by the time I went through the story, I was already level 40, which is the cap.
Yep.
Um,
For now.
for now, until the expansions. I didn't spend a dime on any of the microtransactions, so
Very nice.
you don't have to worry. Honestly, I never felt like
You needed to?
there was no need to.
It only boosts you at the beginning, like I was explaining. Like those weapons, even if you upgrade those weapons, they can't touch what you get toward the end of the game.
Yeah.
So like,
those weapons are at your level the entire time. So like you're just constantly.
They do it in a pretty fair way.
Yeah. So it doesn't give you really an edge as much as you would think. And everything else, like all of the costumes, are purely aesthetic. They really don't do anything for you. So I got literally all the way through that and then beat the story, and I am very pleased with that game.
Dude.
After being pretty let down, I might have to go back, but I didn't beat Syndicate.
I really want to go back and do that myself lately.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one I never beat besides Rogue, which doesn't really count.
You never see copies of Syndicate. I see.
It was good, apparently.
I see copies of Unity everywhere, but not.
Because Unity was like the biggest piece of butt. Like,
and I beat that.
So did I. I beat that in like the first 2 days it was out because I was so psyched to have the follow up for fucking Black Flag. Because Black Flag is one of my all time favorite games, and god damn, like what a. You have Black Flag, and then the following year from a completely separate developer, you have like, I can't even get low enough because it'll be off camera. Like Unity was such a letdown. So that's like the fucking Connected Ventures that you had like 25 copies of at GameStop every week because everybody traded that shit in because it was utter trash. Anyway, Dave, sorry.
Yeah. I actually got a good ways into Syndicate, but what made me stop is I got too frustrated with it.
Same here, actually.
There's that one level where you have to be on the rooftops and
Shooting.
You can't be seen.
Yes.
You had to track down, like you had to follow this guy.
That's exactly where I quit.
And again, I played it the same way, so I have done all the side shit. I have leveled up my characters completely, but it's just that if you're seen, you fail.
Yeah. And
I was so happy to play Assassin's Creed Origins and never have one of those missions.
And it's just it was so open-ended. It was such a great reinvention. We're going to talk about this game later, but it was such a good reinvention, and it was just so open-ended to the point where it was a lot like The Witcher, apparently.
It took a lot of cues from The Witcher, from Metal Gear Solid 5, and from Zelda, honestly, Breath of the Wild.
Plus, you can climb anything in much the same way.
Yep.
You just can't parachute down, which is a bummer.
Next one. That's
maybe.
Agent.
I will say for Syndicate, now you convinced me because I kind of want to go back too, now that I have it on Xbox. Because I did get a good ways in, but I was frustrated for the same reasons because Syndicate, the setting was a lot better and they fixed a couple of different, like the climbing mechanics and stuff. Still going?
Yeah, I'm just checking the timer.
Not nearly as much as, it wasn't as much of an overhaul as Origins was, but the setting was great though, which is why it appealed to me. But anyway, what else you got?
I beat Call of Duty World War II.
And how did you feel about that?
It only takes like an hour and a half, so.
That's appropriate if that's true, but...
Actually it is not.
Yeah, I figured.
So it's...
45 minutes, really?
Yeah, it's like almost 50 minutes. Almost 50 minutes. If you watch after the credits. I'd say about 6 to 8.
Really? That's incredibly long for a Call of Duty game.
It is actually pretty long. I don't feel...
Is that including cinematics and stuff?
Yeah, it's got cinematics. Which, by the way, is kind of a pet peeve for Call of Duty games. And I feel like this is tied to what the best Call of Duties had, is they have those cinematic scenes where you see all the characters, including your own, and it's not in first person. Mm-hmm. And the best ones, the Infinity Ward ones, the old Infinity Ward at least, you were always in first person.
So you could see the shit happening.
You're in the scene.
Like the being shot in the head one at the end of W2 and stuff like that.
All of those, I feel like that's the most powerful way to have a Call of Duty game, and this doesn't do that.
It plays more like a movie.
We're gonna talk about another first-person assassination issue later. Maybe we should or should not. We'll talk about that after.
Okay.
You and I talked about it a little bit earlier.
All right. But it's better than Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which I thought was utter trash. It was awful. The story was nearly nonsensical. It was
Just there to be there.
there to be there, and it relied too heavily on literally the storyline of Deus Ex. But it was worse for me than Infinite Warfare.
Wow.
Which is the predecessor.
Which is the
a lot
dog
of people
shit
like
of
the campaign though.
Like, that's... Infinite Warfare is, like, the fucking dog shit. Like, that's hard, dude. Wow. Like, Advanced was, like, where it was started, like it was, like, Black Ops 3, and then Advanced, and it was like... And it was, like, flying down, and it just kept shitting on themselves. So if that's even worse than Infinite, wow, shit, that's crazy.
Admittedly, I might have a different take on it because of the fact that I don't really play the multiplayer.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently, like, the last couple Call of Duty games really fucking sucked, like, hard.
I wouldn't know.
It's really
bad.
And the end of World War II is weird. Like, it's incredibly awkward because it's one of those things where you're like, should a video game, this type of video game, the Michael Bay Simulator video game, take me to, an actual scene where Jewish people are being killed.
Yeah.
And when you end up in one of the camps at
Did
the
it
end
just
of
go
the
down?
game.
No,
That's good? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We should probably wrap up in
Yeah.
a second, though. Just
Yeah. So it's awkward, and I'm not sure how I feel about the kind of trying to make it really, really emotional. Use that scene to end on. But it wasn't the worst game I played.
Yeah.
This is like the best thing I can say about Call of Duty as of late.
What else have you been playing, Dave?
Interesting.
Got anything else to add?
No, I've been dabbling in the Skyrim VR.
I forgot to mention that, but
yes.
I dabbled into that as well. I bought a PSVR.
You talked about it
Black
last
Friday.
episode.
Yeah.
And that I have to say is probably the best VR game that I've played, or at least the full VR experience.
How was Doom VFR? Did you play it yet?
I have not played it yet. I'm sorry. I have it. I haven't unwrapped it yet.
As a mega Doom fan, like I'm jealous because that's the one game I want to play.
I've heard mixed things, and I
Fair.
understand the mixed things, but I have the Farpoint gun.
Yep.
So
Oh, you can use that with Doom VFR?
you can use that for complete movement, so you're not doing the teleport stuff.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow.
That probably makes it 1 trillion times better.
I do hear that it slows you down, though.
Really?
Because it's a very fast-paced game, and they don't want you to literally vomit. It's a little bit slower, even compared to like the console versions. Which, by the way, this is not the same game. This is a
it's a
completely
sequel.
original sequel to it.
Something I was concerned about is I didn't do a lot of looking into it, but I heard it's $30,
Yes,
which concerns me to no end because how long is this game going to be?
it's
What's the
not
replay
long.
value?
Most of these games aren't going to be...
more. Yeah, I know, but like,
they're playing.
yeah, I know.
They're experimenting.
I don't mind that, though.
Yeah.
What if you pay $60 for a VR game that you don't really want to sit in for 20, 30 hours, and it turns out to be poop, you know? They want to avoid that more often than not, so having little $20 and $30 things like Res Infinite or Super Hot.
I think that's awesome what they do with that kind of stuff. I just I just want more
More
You
girth.
want more girth.
More. I want
Hooray
more,
for girth.
I want more quality, like long-term games rather than
You want it long?
rather than
Sorry, I'm 10 apparently.
rather than the 2 to 3 hour experiences. Like Super Hot was awesome, and it took me about 5 hours to finish it up. But that
So
was,
you're looking for a tantric experience.
you guys are fucking weird. You guys are like 6 right now. Poopy. Does that word make
I'm
you laugh,
sorry.
Dustin?
A
When I say the
6-year-old.
word poopy,
A 6-year-old isn't gonna know what tantric
I
sex
hope not.
is.
Holy shit.
you're a poopy doo-doo.
Moving on. You got anything else, Dave?
I have been playing the expansion actually to Horizon Zero Dawn, Frozen Wilds.
How is that? I have
Sucks.
fucking Sony. I'm looking at your shirt. Jesus Christ. You want to switch? You got a Mario shirt on. You want this? I don't think this will fit you though.
PlayStation sucks. No, but go on.
How do you feel about Xbox?
Me?
Yeah?
I'm looking at his actual like setup. I don't see
Xbox
one.
here. His girlfriend
I don't
has
see
one
one.
though.
Yeah. Yeah, Deanna has an Xbox.
Alright, Dave, keep
It
going.
plays Hulu and Netflix
Oh.
majority of the time.
No, it reminds me of why I enjoyed that game immensely. I haven't gotten too deep into the actual storyline as of yet. I've just been going through the side stuff as I do. But it added a good chunk of space. I was expecting it to be a sequel. I was expecting it to be after the events of the main game, but it is actually during the events of the main game. So it just adds a large chunk of land up to the upper right hand side of the map and lets you go free. And it explains a bit more of the backstory of different clans in the world, and also goes into the backstory of one of the major characters.
So in the narrative of like Horizon Zero Dawn,
Which you're an expert at.
No,
Yeah.
no, I've only played about 4 hours.
I know, that's why I was joking.
But is there like a time gap? Is there like some point in time where it skips over a long period of time and it's situated in there?
No.
Or okay,
No,
Just curious.
because it's an open world game,
it just
they kind of
assumes
just
time has passed.
it doesn't give you like a real sense of time overall. I mean, that's a complex statement in and of itself, especially for that game.
I'm just wondering if they cut a section out of the story specifically to fill it in with.
It's not
with
Final
like
Fantasy. It's not Final Fantasy 15 style where it's like, oh,
Okay. That's what I was looking
years
for.
later.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing like that. It is literally like this. This was a mission that you could have done on your first playthrough, and the way the game handles the ending, you play the final mission, and then credits roll, and there is an after credit scene, and then it drops you back into the game with all of the experience that you gained from the last part, but it leaves
right
before the last battle again. So,
which pisses me off to no end in games. Are you checking your fucking text messages while we're doing the game of the year?
My
episode?
wife is pregnant. Continue. Just
I'm
letting her know
I'm just
that
giving
we're
you shit
recording.
because you
I
gave
know,
Dave
I
shit.
get it.
but no, it's already a beautiful world, and they expanded upon it. I'm happy to jump back in. So,
Neato.
So I played a lot of games this weekend.
hooray!
And the end of the week,
That's
which
pretty
is
neat.
when I'm allowed to. Because I work a lot at the beginning of the week. Anyway, so Oli, I'll start where you left off. I started Horizon Zero Dawn, and I don't know if it's because I'm pissed at Sony, or I'm just in an Xbox mode, or both, but
Or the game's bad?
no, it's really good, and now that my Pro is hooked up correctly, it looks very pretty.
Have you?
I'm still a little girl.
Okay, yeah.
Let me rephrase that. Yeah.
You're like 3 minutes in, my dude.
I've barely started, but very pretty. I just can't. I'm not ready to go in that world yet. Like, she got the little earpiece thing to like see, and now I understand it's way like post-humanity, post-civilization. I get it now. I get the setting now. I'm just not in the mood for it. I'm very much in a mood now for open world single player games after Origins. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might go back to Syndicate, but like right now I want to play Skyrim. I just want to play Skyrim. My mother bought it for me, we talked about that. Can't have it till Christmas, so I'll get to my fourth Skyrim.
Right, he's 6 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I want Skyrim, so I can't settle on anything. So I decided I'm in a Bethesda mood, which I do once a year. So I decided I'm going to 100% Fallout again, but this time on Xbox.
Bruh.
So, exactly. So I've already got like 1,200 of the achievements, so I'm not really that far. I just have to do Nuka-Cola World and Far Harbor.
Fucking literal torture chamber.
So I'm going through Far Harbor and I'm like, God damn, this is fucking awesome. I love Fallout so much. And then I get to the fucking point where I immediately regret it because I remember why I quit the PlayStation version after getting the Platinum. And it's that stupid fucking VR RTS
stupid bullshit.
Bullshit. That 5-level bullshit. And it starts out alright, and then it just gets so crazy complicated for the 5th level. That watching a YouTube video is not like let me watch step by step. No, it's like this ridiculously complicated, fucking huge, like, 40-minute thing if you do it right. And I remember the first, on PlayStation, I spent hours in that last level. And I moved all the blocks around, but I fucked up. I moved all the blocks around for the very final part of the sequence and realized that I messed it up. And I'm like, nope, because you can't reset the blocks if you die or anything.
You have to move them all back.
You have to physically move. I'm like, so I'm currently on the 4th level of that and decided right now I'm just not going to do it.
I remember doing that, and it was such a huge pain in the ass.
Did you ever finish the 5th one?
I did. I finished it.
Fuck that.
It was just retarded, but it was annoying.
So I quit, and I'm like, for our Game of the Year conversation, it's not going to be on my top list. I know it's not, but I'm like, Wolfenstein 2, looked so forward to it for so long.
Disappointing.
So, here's my feeling on it. I've been playing that more than anything lately. Enjoyed a lot. You talked about your performance issues on PC.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you. Now I'm very deep into the game. I'm near the end. And I realized after asking you, the loading screens start to push you. They tell you how far in the game you are, just like the first one. I was not even close when I texted you about it. Now I'm very close. Put a lot of time into it. Dude, I'm getting performance issues like crazy.
Yeah.
So you're on Xbox.
Xbox One
X. I'm on X, and it looks incredible. So the first half of the game, I didn't have anything. Then I get an autosave. I'm not manually saving anything. I get an autosave right in front of these two big motherfuckers with the lasers with 12 health.
Yeah.
Okay? So now I'm fucked unless I want to go back about a half an hour when my last fucking manual save was. So I must have replayed this part. So anyway, I keep dying, obviously. However, it's only giving me 1 life to die because then when I reload it, it has the loading screen for like 5 minutes and then it crashes back to the Xbox
oh my god.
And
wow,
this happened like 5 times.
Wow, I would have been pissed.
So I got discouraged, played a different game, went back. So finally I'm like, I'm gonna beat this, I'm not going back a half an hour, I'm gonna fucking beat this part. And it also happens to be where you go into Area 52. Spoilers. And after you kill those big motherfuckers, there's like 50 fucking guys because they already sounded the alarm.
I stopped when I got to the end of the train. The end of the train was a fucking massive pain in the ass.
There are some difficult parts.
Yes, I will agree with you on that.
And you get 50 health. It's stupid. It's fucking retarded.
They do fix that later, which that was one of my complaints as well, is that you always have 50 health max.
For the majority of the game.
Well, no, it's like the first 40 or 50%, but they explain that later.
Portion of the game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it made sense with the story because he's beat up and everything, but still, it was like, fuck, 50 health, come on. And like anytime you get higher, it constantly drains. So, anyway, Then the performance issues continued. I got past that part finally, and I'm like, fuck yeah. So I get to this extremely tense, extremely story-heavy section that's like an hour long, where... What?
Goes down to like 3 FPS?
No, I never have that kind of performance issues. I'm having more crashes, where...
Oh shit.
There's this part, and I'm not going to ruin anything for you, but there's a very spectacular part where that old bitch is getting ready to execute fucking Blazkowicz. And you're like, oh shit, how the fuck is he gonna get out of this? Do you mind if I ruin a little part of it?
I don't care.
I didn't think you cared.
Spoilers.
So spoilers.
If you don't
spoilers
know.
for the next 30 seconds.
I borderline fucking returned it on Steam, but then
he
I realized
fucking
it was
gets
like over 2 hours
captured
and it was fun.
by the Nazis. You have, which I totally called, by the way, where he breaks out, fucking shoots up the whole courtroom, and I'm like, this is a fucking dream. Yeah. You go through like this 30-minute sequence where you're murdering everyone, and I'm like, that was too easy. Then he wakes up and he's still captured. I'm like, fucking goddamn it. So I'm like, how is he gonna get out of this one? Well, on live TV, in front of what used to be the fucking Lincoln Memorial, I think, who now has a Nazi pin, whatever. Fucking, this old bitch puts you backwards and she's getting ready to fucking decapitate you with a katana in front of a worldwide audience. So what does she do? She flat out chops your fucking head off. And she's just like hacking away at your head. Your head fucking comes off. She throws it off the cliff and the game crashes. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They just cut my head off. What the fuck happens next?
That's game over.
I wake up. I'm like, how did they fucking continue this game? I wake up and my head's in a fucking vial with the fucking monkey, which I totally called as well, where they're fucking getting ready to reattach your fucking head to like a robot. And I'm like...
So do you see how they do it, or...?
Yeah,
okay.
I did, but I missed part of the sequence where the thing grabbed your head and they switched the head and everything. It gets really goofy. Okay, the game has a tone issue where...
It's super fucking serious in the first one.
It gets very serious, and then there's some jokes, and then it gets serious, and then you're getting your head chopped off and reattached to a fucking robot. And I'm like...
It's not a robot.
It's part robot, and it's part fucking mechanical. They had a Terminator deal, where it had real skin, but it's mechanical underneath.
They can clone super body, I thought.
It gets goofy, okay? But then as soon as that stuff's happening, I'm like, this is actually kind of dumb. But then the game continues, and I'm like, okay, actually it's kind of badass again, so I keep going up and down. I really like the game. Okay, no, we're not going to continue with the spoilers. We can talk about that after. But there were some parts in the game where I'm like...
I'm going to put a huge spoiler warning on the front of this.
I'll put spoiler flashing. So I've been playing a lot of the game. I wanted to finish it by the time we had our... Still going?
Yep, we should probably wrap up in a minute or two.
I wanted to bring some of that to the conversation. It would not have been on my top 3, but
It wouldn't be on mine either.
There are some points where I'm like, the New Order was actually a lot better of a game.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like the New Order was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
I almost felt like Wolfenstein II should have came before the New Order.
I feel like Wolfenstein II should have released in January or February because it deserves more praise and more spotlight than it's going to get. Yeah. It was the #1 selling game on Black Friday nationwide. Plus it was $25. Plus it was other people's games like it was for ours where we were like, well, we'll get it after we play all these other stuff. But I feel like... Oh, we have so much to talk about in that game that I just don't want to spoil. And you haven't gotten as far as we have, so I don't want to spoil it for you either.
Yeah,
but
I mean, for me, it's so disappointing on PC. Because the performance issues are just that bad.
See, that's the other thing for me.
The crux is...
It ruins the entire thing for me, honestly.
It's pretty cool, but I just...
Are you playing it on PS4 or Xbox?
Yes, I'm playing it on PS4.
Yep.
And play it on PS4. If you're going to play it... I didn't have it crash. I didn't have performance
so
issues.
Disappointing. Getting my head chopped off and the game crashes. I'm like, this is a sick joke.
Fucking Microsoft, man. Fuck.
We are recording, good sirs.
You want to zoom in?
This podcast is worth 2 hot and readies.
Leftover Pants. Leftover Pants is brought to you by Little Caesars.
So, we should...
Pizza.
This podcast is hot but never ready.
So, we were talking Wolf 2. What else have I been playing? We'll wrap this up, though.
I don't know what else you've been playing.
I've been playing a little Super Lucky's Tale until I get frustrated because I'm almost to the end and the design gets pretty poopy after a while.
Probably like a 5.
It's a 5 game. And, I popped in Fable Anniversary, but...
Fucking booyah.
Which I finally got.
Fucking
I found a nice
booyah.
pristine copy and it's backward compatible now, and just...
Yeah.
I remember loving Fable, though, so much, and just
fucking
can't...
dope. That game is dope as fuck.
The thing is, I have to be in the mood for something lately, and I can't stick with something. I couldn't stick with Horizon, couldn't stick with... You know, you ever get in one of those modes?
No.
I want to play Skyrim, god damn it.
I am surprised, though, to be fair, that how you can go from one similar game to another similar game to another.
Which I usually can't do, though.
You get into right now.
I've done it before, yeah.
It's just like, it's bizarre.
Which is funny.
I have to plan it.
Yeah. Which is fun, because usually when you're done something as huge as Origins, usually I want to play something completely different. Like, I'll take a break and do like a Super Lucky's Tale or something. Instead, this time, I'm in Skyrim mode. It made me want to play Skyrim or Assassin's Creed. So, I have The Witcher, the complete edition of The Witcher 3. And Eric has been talking this game up for years. Every podcast I listen to, they still talk about The Witcher 3.
It's fucking
and
great.
I'm going to give it a solid try.
It's like the fucking pinnacle of game design, honestly.
So I'm still at the beginning.
And Project
you
Red.
haven't even gotten to a sex scene yet.
No, I just
And that's the first scene in the game.
I just can't. I want to. One, it's not Skyrim, but two... Okay, so I get to the first game of Gwent, and I rock this guy's... The fucking tutorial, basically. I rock this guy's world, and then he rattles off, like, 2 or 3 rounds against me to knock me straight out. I don't even know what happened. So, whatever. The game, I get that it's a legendary game. I need to give it more of a chance. But, like, there's tutorial after tutorial after tutorial. And just, Geralt won't stop fucking talking. And it's like, dude,
JRPGs,
I just want to walk around and, like, see the fucking land. Like, okay, real quick. My main thing is, the thing that I loved about Skyrim is that your fucking main character doesn't speak. And it's just, you're by yourself and you just get to open up to the world and you get to explore. Every time I turn on The Witcher 3, you're with your old fart buddy, your cop friend, and you're on your horses.
For like
and he's talking
3
about
hours.
Yennefer, and he's talking about his fucking horse, and then he talks to this guy, and he's fucking like, oh, well, they stole my goods, and it's like, nobody stops talking. It's like, I just want to fucking discover things and do these menial side quests. And then you gotta fucking go into the bar, and you gotta have a fucking book-long conversation with everybody in the bar. And I'm like, just give me a fucking waypoint. I want to continue. And I want to level up. I want to fight something. I want to fucking fight something.
It's called
And have
exposition, my dude.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just not in the mood for it. And, like, Skyrim is obviously, everybody compares them, but Skyrim is a very different type of game. Like, it's very much about the experience rather than the characters.
I also...
But it has characters. It just doesn't have a lot of... But...
Yeah, this might be something for, like, a leftover shorts kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at some point, I'd like to talk. I'd like to talk about the like the Bethesda effect. I watched a video from Downward Thrust. It's a YouTube channel. The guy.
Just YouTube?
Yes.
Not like you
downward.
porn? Or...
Downward thrust, like you thrust a sword into the ground.
Oh.
But the guy that runs the channel, his name's Tone Locke, and he does some pretty good analyzing of like things in the industry. And he kind of talked about how Bethesda gets a pass on most stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
And he
I'm
went
still totally into it.
he went like really in depth as to what they specifically get passes on.
Oh yeah.
And like how everybody compares everything to Skyrim, but usually when you're comparing anything to Skyrim, Skyrim is the most flawed out of the two things. And it's really funny. It's just like, if you have a chance, look it up. It's just, but he does a really good job.
That's
But I'd like to talk about it.
not wrong.
At some point.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting.
I love Bethesda a lot.
But they're flawed.
They need a new fucking engine
They
for the next
really
game.
do.
First of all.
Oh my god, it's bad.
But anyway, one more thing was, before we get into Game of the Year conversation, I promise it's coming. The other game that I played was, oh, you know what? I played a couple hours in Act 2. Dude. Really? The writing is still awful. The
I'm
characters
glad
still
we
shit.
both had the same reaction.
But
Are you
the
fucking
game,
kidding me? Discount Pixar movie, really?
when you're tired and you just want like one of those beat 'em ups,
DreamWorks.
it's a fucking beat 'em.
Mark Cerny needs to go back to making consoles instead of games. He needs to fuck off.
So-
Seriously. It's like when he creeps into the office, they go, "Fuck off, Mark. Get out. Fuck off." And he's like, "No, but I want to play with you guys." And he makes that really weird face that he always makes whenever he's at a keynote. And he just walks into the game development office and goes, "I'm gonna make my own thing." And then he kind of makes it, and then they're like, "That's fucking shit, Mark." And then Mark's like, "Hey, Andrew House or whatever used to be the president, I want to release this game." And they're like, "Yeah, just let Mark do it. He's retarded, but it's okay." And then they
Welcome to
pass it
27.
off.
So Knack 2.
So, Act 2.
Shouldn't be a thing, but it's a fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's Knack.
I went on a little tangent there, but it's hilarious because that's how I see Mark Cerny.
Mark Cerny is a fucking nerd, but he did bring us Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet and Clank,
Spyro boys.
Spyro, and the PlayStation 4. So,
Well, he didn't bring us Spyro, but he maybe he's gonna bring us the remake.
it'd be cool if they did that. I still gotta get the Crash collection. Okay, you know what?
If you want to borrow my Crash collection, you can. It's not like
I need
play
to buy it. You don't play PlayStation.
It's a dust collector.
I need to get it in my collection though. Okay, Game of the Year talk. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty. Second runner up. Your runner up. We'll go in order, and we're just gonna vomit our feelings about it, and then our official Game of the Year. And if you want to add more, that's fine. But we're gonna talk about it right after this. Yeah, I think it would be cool to watch the Game Awards together though.
Yeah.
We should make it a tradition.
I'm sure there's going to be some oh shit moments, because there pretty much always is.
Well, the Game Awards are rapidly becoming, they're Jeff Keighley's love letter to the industry and the gaming fans, and now that Spike TV is not a part of it, it's actually becoming a really cool thing to do every year.
Spike's like fucking fucked everything in the ass
So,
as far as making it good.
So here's what we're going to do. I'll announce this first, since we're talking about the Game Awards, and the three of us, and hopefully Teddy, well, Teddy probably won't be able to join us, but we're going to watch the Game Awards together Thursday. They air Thursday the...
Something.
7th. December 7th, live, streaming all over the world, blah, 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 the Game Awards. So this is what we're going to do for the Quiztacular thing tonight. We'll do it after, at the end of the episode. What I wanted to do was I'm going to go through the nominees for each category, and we're all going to bet what we think. Not what we want to win, what we
I like this.
what we think is going to win each category, and then the person who gets the most correct after the Game Awards, which will be our next episode, we'll reveal the winner between our little bet. They will start off Quiztacular, the second season, with a win.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, I like this. I do like this.
It'll be a fun little ending to the episode. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk Game of the Year. We've reconfigured this a little bit in between recording sessions here. We're going to do our personal underrated / didn't get enough attention game first. Dave, Justin, Matt. And then we're going to do our second runner-up, and then our runners-up, and then our Game of the Year. And then maybe we'll come to a consensus, and we'll kind of work with it while we're going live, and see if we can come up with an official 2017 Leftover Pants Game of the Year, singular. And if not, then that's just not what we'll do from now on. We'll see how it goes. Dave, what was your underrated, didn't get enough attention, weird Game of the Year?
Just, I heart this game.
What game is that?
Game. It's Hellblade.
I heard wonderful things.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is a really, really unique title. Didn't get a physical release. I would buy it again for a physical release. It's not one of my top, I wouldn't even say 5 games of this year, but it was really, really interesting because it had one thing that I've noticed with the newer games, we're getting a lot of strong female protagonists, so this was one aspect of that game, but rarely do you see a game tackle mental illness the way that this game does, and it weaves into it, and they did a lot of work into studying how mental illness works. People see symbols and contrive meaning out of them. They work that into the gameplay elements. They work on what triggered her and what pulled her down into depression and made all of these things, her biggest nightmares, into tying into Norse mythology to bring a very, very unique gameplay style. And combat was claustrophobic, even.
What type of a game is it, gameplay-wise? Because I've heard a lot about it, but...
It is largely a third-person action game with puzzles into it. It isn't heavy on the combat, though. Normally, it's going to be you with a few enemies at one time, but the camera sits very closely behind her, so you never quite have
full vision of everything.
Full vision of everything. You'll get slight hints, and the key to this whole game is you constantly hear voices.
Is it almost like a fixation? Like it's trying to make you fixate on one thing at a time? Because from the gameplay I saw, like it looked like a very narrow point of view.
I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
I feel that they knew that made you feel a little bit uneasy, like
and
you
uncomfortable.
Want to pan back.
Yeah.
But also, like, the voices themselves help in combat situations sometimes. They'll tell you to watch out if something's about to strike you in the back. But also it gives you doubt. So during...
Actually, should you listen to the voice, that kind of thing?
There are many voices,
yeah.
And some of them will be encouraging. You're going the right way. You can do this. You got this. To you're going the wrong way. This is ridiculous. You should give up now. Just constantly playing with you, and it's just a very, very unique game. And totally worth watching the documentary about making the game to see the process of doing it too.
What platforms is it on? Everything?
I think it's on pretty much everything save the Switch.
Great.
As a download, it might. I'm not sure it came on an Xbox.
Probably not. I have heard wonderful
PlayStation,
things about it though. Yeah, that's cool.
And it is on the cheap. I think it's only $30.
Yeah, it was $30 standard, which is pretty cool.
There is another game. There's a couple games that actually tackled mental illness this year of varying
success
and different mental illnesses as well. The other one, the name is escaping me. My friend Shannon played it, and I also heard IGN talk about it on Podcast Beyond recently. Shit. It's like one of the what do you call those? Like a visual novel. It's on PC, it's on Steam. I guess it's pretty cheap. Actually, I think it's free. It's actually a free game, but apparently like it's phenomenal. And it's written from the point of view of a female, basically in the middle of like a suspense thriller slash horror film where she's dealing with anxiety to the point where she can't even function really. I can't speak too much about it though because I haven't played it. But wish I could remember the name of it and I can't.
Gotcha.
Yep. Do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I don't want to give too much away to the entire thing, but it delves into the relationships that she had, but it is very much focused. She's the only real character that you see in the game. So you'll get a lot of mythological creatures show up, but she is the only real human character. There are a couple of scenes where you'll see somewhat visions from her point of view of other characters, but they're almost obscured to a certain extent.
That's cool.
But worth it.
I'll take a look at that. So mine, you want me to go next, correct?
Yeah, let me just check the timer here. Oh yeah, okay, so we got about another 5 or 6 minutes before we should...
Sure, we can squeeze one in.
Yep.
Traditionally, these types of categories for most unrecognized game is not a AAA release. Mine is. Because typically January and February releases go under the radar, or, well, at least for Game of the Year talk, they go under the radar. Zelda notwithstanding. So, that was in March, but whatever. Mine is Resident Evil 7. Was a really great game.
Thought you were going there.
Obviously, at the beginning of the year, that was the first game that I played, new for the year, and I was like, this is Game of the Year type material, because it is. I used to be such a diehard Resident Evil fan when you and I first started becoming friends when Resident Evil 4 came out. And I just grew up on that franchise, and to see it go in a lot of different directions, and now all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're kind of doing like a low-budget, first-person shooter type that's going back to survival horror, going back to its roots, and they didn't really say if it's a reboot, and like it wasn't really called Resident Evil 7, it just had the...
Biohazard.
Yeah, but the 7 is...
in
the Roman numerals are in the evil, yeah. In the logo, and so nobody really knew what to expect about it, and that was part of the appeal of it, because when you start to play the game, you realize that the world is no longer taken over by zombies from Resident Evil 6. Nobody really, you don't have any grasp on it as the player, so you're going in completely blind. You realize you're playing as a dude who has nothing to do with anything in the Resident Evil franchise. I don't even remember the guy's name. And then the game tricks you so many times. It is pure survival horror, just like the first two games were. Great, scary stuff. A lot of pop-out scares, a lot of visual stuff. Must be insanely intense in VR, because...
Must be fucking crazy.
Holy shit, because that game...
I can attest to that.
That game was scary as fuck, and I could not imagine. Some of the bosses were cool, too, because it had that very Resident Evil / Metroid... style of gameplay where you have the mansion, or in this case the house and the backyard and the little camper, where you need certain keys to get into certain areas, and there's only 4 characters in the whole game, and you're going to run into them eventually. It's not like there's a bunch of zombies or something running around, minus later you find out that, spoilers, there's also the mold people, whatever they're called. I'm not doing a very good job explaining this game, but Resident Evil 7 is great. It wasn't even a shooter, really. Like, you barely had any ammo. You couldn't kill really any of the enemies in the game permanently until the very last scene of the game. What did I want to say about it, though? Half of its appeal, though, was that you didn't understand how it fit into the greater Resident Evil lore, and again, spoilers, by the end of the game you kind of know exactly that it is indeed Resident Evil 7, but they don't rely so heavily on characters from the older games, or even concepts from the older games. You can play Resident Evil 7 as a reboot without having any experience with Resident Evil whatsoever, and be completely up to speed on it.
You don't have to know everything about Wesker's family.
Yeah, Wesker's gone, thankfully. But it still had little Easter eggs like any good reboot does. Like the gun you get at the very end of the game is named after Albert Wesker. It has the Stars helicopter at the end of the game. A lot of the notes or pictures that are framed in the mansion, they're making references to the Arclight Mountains from Resident Evil 1, or... I said Stars helicopter, I meant Umbrella helicopter. Anyway, Resident Evil 7 is mine. It's pretty neat. They added a lot of cool post-game content, some free DLC and some paid. And the paid stuff was actually pretty cool because it gave you... did you play the DLC?
No, I haven't played the DLC.
So the first one was called... the first bundle was called... Found Footage or Deleted Footage #1, I forget. Basically, it's a prequel to Resident Evil 7 where you're playing as a character they reference in the game, and he's chained up to a bed. And they do the whole Saw slash Jigsaw type thing where you're stuck in the bed and the old lady's coming to feed you shit, like literal shit, and you don't want to eat it, and she'll fucking kill you if she finds you out of bed. And the whole chapter, the whole DLC content takes place in that one bedroom where you're trying to escape the bedroom, and it's actually done pretty well. Check out Resident Evil 7.
Gotcha. So this whole time I've been having a constant battle within my head to really name something that's like really neat but didn't get a lot of recognition.
I can come up with another one if you want.
No, that's alright.
Dave's got lists.
I have like 4 that are bouncing around in my head right now. Can I say all 4?
You can do whatever you want, bro.
Do it.
So my official, it's really good, but I didn't feel like it got enough attention. You saw like headlines about it, more than likely a little bit, but it never got like a huge, this is fucking amazing sticker on it. I'm gonna say it, probably expected, Nier Automata.
Yeah, that's true.
That's on my top 10.
Game was fucking awesome. Didn't get a lot of recognition for it. I mean, it got high review scores. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam, except the PC port was kind of shit. And like on PS4, it was like borderline amazing, and there was literally like 26 endings or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really good game. It was really well done. Platinum at its finest.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh,
like,
that's a platinum game?
That was
yeah,
platinum.
like
They're so up and down.
they are.
They did Ninja Turtles this year. Last
They're
year.
and Transformers and like, oh, Jesus,
Yeah.
like they're so up and down. But that's Platinum at its finest. Like in all seriousness, Platinum did a fucking awesome job. Congratulations. That's my official like didn't get enough recognition.
Did you like 9S?
9S.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought he was a whiny asshole.
and then there was like 3 after that. Metroid: Samus Returns, really good, faithful reboot of Metroid 2. Monster Hunter Stories. These are 2 3DS games. So
That's
That's
part of why they didn't
Yeah.
get it.
yeah, but they're like legitimately good games, and the 4th one I don't know, I'm not so sure on anymore.
Tell us, and then we'll tell you if it's yes or no.
Well, it was kind of like there was a lot of headlines about it, but it wasn't like out there. Sonic Mania, I was gonna say, but
Well, Sonic Mania was fucking great.
yeah, Sonic Mania was fucking phenomenal, but it did
Came and went.
It did get
Yeah.
headlines, but it went by like super fast.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything about Sonic Mania anymore. You know, I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
But Monster Hunter Stories, if you get a chance and you're looking for a turn-based RPG on 3DS, consider it for a pickup. A lot of playtime, very Pokemon-esque. Environments are kind of boring, but the missions are fun, and getting new monsters and breeding them and all sorts of stuff like that is a lot of fun. I like that quite a bit, and you get to steal eggs and from monster dens and shit like that. It's really fun.
Cool.
And Metroid Samus Returns is just a fucking reboot of Metroid, and I liked it, and I thought it was real good, except I hated the whole quick time event fucking, hit shit with
I
your
wish they'd put
your
it
gun.
on Switch.
Yeah, and
I wanna play it
I
so
also
bad.
wish it was on Switch too.
Yeah.
If it was on Switch, it'd be like 10 trillion times better.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just
And people would
unfortunate.
be playing it.
Yeah, people would probably be playing it and probably would have gotten a lot more recognition. But that's my roundabout games that I would put in that kind of category.
Cool.
So I guess a real quick addition if you added those other ones.
Yes, you may add more, Dave.
Just one. Observer.
Observer.
Yeah.
Absolver?
Nope.
Observer.
Observer.
Haven't heard of
Absolver is cool, but it wouldn't be up there, at least not yet. They're still working on it. Observer is actually first-person horror noir style game. Horror noir, cyber sleuthing type of game. It's very strange, but it's actually an excellent downloadable title that one again is also PS4 or PC at the very least. And I forget the actor's name from Blade Runner. Not Harrison Ford.
Blade Runner 2, you mean?
No.
Oh, there
the
we
original
go.
Blade Runner.
The one people watched?
Yeah. Is the main actor of that.
Harrison Ford?
Not Harrison Ford.
No?
No.
I never saw it.
No, the main actor in Observer.
Oh.
You never seen Blade Runner?
I know.
Wow.
I know.
What was that other game? I just had it in my head too. Fuck. Never mind. Keep talking.
Sorry, my games are just so awesome. They do go.
What was that other one? I was thinking of it. Shit.
Was it some obscure mobile game?
No.
Pokemon Go?
No. God, no.
But Nintendo makes it.
It's on a Nintendo
I don't
platform.
really-
Yeah.
I tried multiple times to play that. It's not
Okay.
not a thing. Fuck. If I remember it, I'll shout it out real quick. But I don't remember it at the moment. That's how low key it was.
Our second runner-up for Game of the Year.
Or personal.
Our personal picks. Second runner-up, which is your number 3. Dave.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Which was a wonderful game.
It's an absolutely wonderful game.
Tell us why,
I'm
though.
surprised it wasn't number 2. To be honest with you.
Well,
We all know what number 1 is, but I was just.
we all
surprised
know
it
what
wasn't
my number 1 is. But number 3, Assassin's Creed. I am a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I have an Assassin's Creed tattoo, and I've been really sad with the last few games. And seeing it come back to grace.
It's back, baby.
It's back in full force. I was happy to finally care deeply about an Assassin's Creed game where it was fully open worlds. We got to do things at our own pace, where it took the ability to approach all the missions the way you wanted to have your own style with the different bows, your own style for weapon types, and the story, the actual world that you got to explore, perfect setting. Obviously it's a gorgeous game that doesn't really need to be said, but I'm also glad to see that there's story progression in modern time, which has been just completely ignored for the most part in the past few Assassin's Creed games, which I cared about. Not everyone did, but I do.
Interesting.
I will add more to that in a few minutes. But, surprise. My number 3 for Game of the Year was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Now, there's a great debate in the industry right now of if it should even be allowed to be nominated for Game of the Year when it's been in beta all year, or early access all year. Which is a similar conversation to should Mario Kart 8 Deluxe be nominated for anything, considering the game's 3 years old, so meaning remasters or anything like that, or reboots. I feel totally, especially in this case, this made me a believer because the contributions that PUBG has made to popular culture, gaming culture, and just the fact that the game that has one map completely created an entire genre of shooters now, which everybody, AAA developers included, are trying to rip off to varying degrees of success. It says a lot about, the fuck's his name? Oh, his name is PlayerUnknown. Whatever his real name is, I think he's kind of a genius because of all the shooters, of all the Call of Duties that have come out over the years. For them to create, or for him to create an entire genre out of one game that has one mode, that has one map, that's so captivating to over 20 million players. It's pretty neat, and the game is constantly improving, at least on well, it's only on PC as of this moment, 2 more weeks it'll be on Xbox, but the PC version, I've been playing it pretty much since the beginning, constantly improving visually, performance-wise. Just the fact that you can vault over things now, just that mechanic alone actually changes the gameplay in a lot of areas. They added a first-person mode they added a couple months ago. They had the teams of 2, the duo or the tag team, whatever they want to call it, and then teams of 4. But still, the core mode for me is the winner, chicken dinner, the every man for himself. Just some of the most intense moments of any shooter that I've ever played because it's permadeath. If you have 100 players on one single map, that's a fucking ginormous map, and you're all trying to get to one area within a specific time limit, and like, my goal is, I guess sneeze.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
My goal is try to get a lot of great weapons and a lot of body armor real quick, and then take refuge inside the nearest bathroom and shut the fucking door and just focus your shotgun on the fucking door until you have to move on to the next area. Works really well. You get a lot more coins if you last longer in the match. But it's fucking intense when you're in a house and it's all about the sound. There's no music. When you start to hear doors opening or guns reloading, or like in the background you can hear like down the road a couple shots, and you're like, holy shit, like there's somebody fairly near me. Or like when I'm in that bathroom and I'm looking at the window and then I see somebody start running by and they have no idea that I'm here, but I know they're coming in the house soon because they're looking for shit. You know what I mean? And then just the fact that you can fuck with people, like you can get in the backseat of a car real quick, but you can't shoot anybody in the car until you get out. You know, and then you see these videos on YouTube of like players just saying, well, fuck it, I got 2 bad guys in the back seat, I'll just drive right up the fucking cliff. You know what I mean? Or, you know, I'll put a couple clips and a couple magazines and some body armor leading into the bathroom and see if they fucking bite. And I'll be in the bathroom waiting. No, there's a lot of different, holy shit, you have to see this once in a lifetime moments that have been captured on YouTube or Twitch from that one game alone. I think it's super cool. The fact that Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto Online and all these other games are trying to emulate that experience. And even though Fortnite, that mode in Fortnite, which is not the main mode in Fortnite, is actually
Becoming
bigger.
more and more popular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For Fortnite, it's
I'm
constantly
starting to see as many Fortnite videos as I do PUBG, and they've successfully ripped it off.
It's like but it also has its own tone to it. It's very cartoony and arcade-ish and quicker matches compared to...
Runs better.
I haven't played Fortnite, to be honest. I just see videos. But there's also the Minecraft aspect of Fortnite and building your base and like just putting a staircase right in front of somebody when they start shooting you and shit. That changes. It is a completely different experience, but still taking that match type. You know what I mean? And they're emulating it and making it their own. Right. So... But in PUBG, it is the original version, and I'm fascinated by it, and I want to see where it goes next, and how it evolves.
And it is, I think, a testament to the type of content that you can get on PC and nowhere else.
Yeah.
And, where this would not have happened if we only had consoles.
Yeah.
This guy was building mods on Arma, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Arma,
yeah.
Something like that.
And that was the origins of his of the entire game was an Arma mod, and I love those types of stories where a mod.
Well, that was the same thing with
Dota.
Yeah, Dota, but that was a Warcraft mod way back in the day.
Yeah.
But trying to think, what's the other one? It's not H1Z1. It's
Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy.
Daisy was Arma as well.
Yeah, Daisy was Arma as well. Arma's produced a much bigger fucking Frankenstein than itself. Holy shit.
Right.
I don't know anybody that plays Arma,
I know one
but
person.
I know everybody that plays PUBG or fucking
Daisy.
Daisy. Dude,
I will-
fucking nuts, dude.
I will say this: I'm a sucker for digital games that get
The guys who
physical
made
copies.
Arma must be fucking pissed.
Physical copies later on, and PUBG is getting a physical release exclusively on Xbox. And I'm gonna grab it, and I'm gonna grab it for my pal Eric, who no longer watches this podcast. But
Why not?
Because we don't have an audio version. And
Wow, alright.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Eric. Sorry.
Trust me, Eric. You can.
You won't
just,
hear it anyway,
you can-
it's okay.
You can play it on YouTube. It plays in the background.
so Yeah,
It's called
bus
the
ride
tab.
in the morning.
It's called a tab, motherfucker. Use it.
You can save the videos for later watch.
There's
You
also
don't
a
even
website
stream it.
called
Holy
YouTube
shit.
to MP3. Fucking use it.
No,
fam.
you just download the video now on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Oh
app.
yeah. I guess
So-
you can even just fucking do that. There's a download button, fam.
But anyway, I'm gonna get him a copy of PUBG. I'm gonna play it with him on
You also
Xbox.
need to get him a USB thumbstick.
And I
So you can fucking hand him the shit on fucking...
and I need to get him some fucking respect. So no, some loyalty, motherfucker.
He won't hear it anymore.
You'll watch this one episode.
It's all in good jest.
So love you. I'm gonna get him a copy of it. He knows it's coming. You should get it too, actually. We can play.
I have it pre-ordered.
Do you? Okay.
I don't have an Xbox.
We'll play. Your girlfriend does. We'll play it. We're gonna play PUBG. I
We'll
hope
play
it's
with
not.
your girlfriend.
I hope it's not ultra. Hope it's not ultra rough like the original version. It's to be expected, but to see how crisp and clean ish PUBG is on PC right now, I don't want the Xbox version to launch in such a shitty state.
You know, the funny thing is, I heard straight from Bluehole, I think, is the developer. I heard straight from them in an article that they did for an interview or something like that. That the One X version is going to run at 60 FPS.
No, they put out a presser yesterday actually refuting that. Well, they did say that.
Yeah.
But now they took it back and they said, which is a valid concern, they don't want specific
1S
players getting
people being on 30 FPS and they don't
Right.
want X. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all 30 across
It
the
makes
board.
sense, but what a bunch of bitches. Imagine how awesome it would have been to have 60 FPS on fucking One X.
That game can be pretty, but because of the performance issues, now my rig can handle games running on high settings, but PUBG, it cannot handle on high settings. Like, holy shit.
It's not a very pretty game, but it
It
I
can be,
mean,
if you crank it up.
If
but
you crank it up, but like it's not
can't.
it's not like The Witcher 3 pretty.
No.
Like, let's be real. But my computer can run the fucking Witcher 3 on ultra settings just fine. But it can't run fucking PUBG on like medium.
Yeah.
That's an
It's
optimization issue.
It is, yeah. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Also,
Part of the reason why I don't think they should be nominated for Game of the Year is because the pure fact that it was an unfinished game. You know, but that's a whole debate for another time.
Yeah, that is the debate going on around the industry at the moment. I don't think that remasters.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. So like Mario Kart 8 is actually nominated for a lot of awards at the Game Awards.
That's bullshit.
We'll go over that after. I don't think it should be allowed to win anything.
Granted,
Because it came out 3 years ago.
There's no racers that came out this year.
But it's nominated for like best
GT
family
Sport
game.
doesn't fucking count, and neither does Forza, so whatever.
Okay.
Who cares?
Before we get cut off, what's your number 2? Or your number 3?
My number 3, it's going to be very much expected, and you guys can probably guess it. Do you want to take a guess?
Super Mario Odyssey?
No.
The Legend of Zelda?
No.
That's you really thought.
Let me look at the Switch games. Hang on a
You
minute.
really thought that
It's not on the
We
Switch.
got Splatoon 2.
It's not on the Switch.
We got 1-2 Switch.
It's not on the Switch.
Oh, what is it?
It's Persona 5.
That's a good pick, because that was actually more under the radar than I would have thought a year ago.
Yeah, Persona 5 is my Game of the Year. Or
Your third.
my
Yeah.
third game of the
Whoa.
year. My third game of the year. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, it's 1 in the morning. But like, yeah, it legitimately was fantastic. Love the story. I like the fact that they kind of keep you posted as to what's going on in the real, like, in current time, and what you're doing to lead up to that. So it's more of like, you know the ending, but you're kind of following the steps to see how you get there and what fuck ups is going to happen, and that's really cool.
I really want to get that game and get into it.
I like building the relationships with the characters, even though I haven't in like past, I haven't been one for that kind of gameplay. I'm not a huge like relationship builder kind of guy, but I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is like basically fucking relationship simulator to some degree, because you have to build affinity with different characters and stuff like that to get different items and whatnot. But it made me really appreciate it in Persona 5, and just did an awesome job with storytelling, combat, art design. Fucking music was amazing. oh my god,
Yeah,
really
it
good
was actually
music.
pretty good. Yeah.
The soundtrack was phenomenal. And I kind of like the classic, just turn-based, fucking excellent-looking, very stylized RPG. I think it was really cool. If I had one complaint, it would be the map was like a little weird and confusing at times, but I think it's really cool. You go to like the batting cage to power up different abilities, and then they give the actual like, why would a teenager have a gun in this situation? But they kind of explain that like these are airsoft guns, but when you're in like the palaces and in these like dream states almost, like since you believe it's like you just have to think it's a real gun and then all of a sudden it's a real gun, and that's really funny. That's why you can use like slingshots and it actually hurts thing. It's really cool. They just do a fantastic job. So that would be my number 3 for the year.
So, without having played much, well, I played a lot of 4. I played a bit of 4.
You're not going to be lost if you pick up 5.
No, I know they're all completely separate, but from what I hear from mega Persona fans and mega SMT fans is that the reason why 5 was somewhat overlooked is because gameplay-wise and style-wise, it's a lot like 4, but 4 had a better story. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate to some degree.
Because 4 was a really big fucking game. That was like the number 1 game on Vita, which gave the whole game a second life to itself.
Yeah, I think it's really funny that a remaster was the thing that breathed some
Vita.
life into the fucking Vita. That's funny. I think that's fucking hilarious because that's such a trash little machine.
You're a trash little machine.
It's honestly a bad
it's
fucking
still
console.
alive.
Yeah, that's the fucking wail that Justin makes whenever I call it bad.
I love the Vita.
But no, I think that's an accurate statement.
Yeah.
As a big SMT guy, I'm not as big into Persona as I am SMT. In all honesty, I never finished 4. You know, I didn't finish 3. 3 had a fucking bullshit last boss, though. Like, fucking retarded bullshit. Do you ever play through 3?
I never got to the end of 3, no.
Dude. Fucking last boss, I think it was in 3. It was either 2 or 3, but 3 was, like, fucking ridiculous. That last boss, it was
How ridiculous was it?
Like,
was it really ridiculous?
Like, it would mind control you to heal the boss.
Oh, that's fun.
It would like mind control everyone.
I always hated that.
And then everyone would just start healing the boss, and then he'd be like, "Oh, and now your party members are gonna attack each other or whatever," and it was just fucking retarded. And it would,
I always hated on some of the Final Fantasies, the older ones that you and I used to play, when you'd be facing this fucking mega boss, like that's 10 levels higher than you, and you get them down to a little bit, to like 10 HP, and you know that it's already predestined that they're going to use a mega elixir as soon as you get them down, so you basically have to beat them twice in one go. And I'm like, you asshole. Or Pokemon did that too a lot, in like Black and White.
Whitney, with her milk tank, used to do that like ridiculous.
That bitch.
She used to use, like, a fucking high potion and moo milk, like, constantly, so it was just a fucking... It was a war of...
HP.
It was a war of fucking attrition, man. It was ridiculous.
Okay. You know, it's getting late when our camera runs out of battery and we're going to the laptop.
No, we're getting serious.
Yeah, now we're getting serious talk. I like it, actually, because we kind of... feel like we're having a sit down with our 8 viewers. Okay, so we're getting real close to them having a personal conversation.
And one of those is not Eric.
Yeah.
Let that be known.
Yeah. That's why the viewership went down. Eric must have watched like 20 times a week because like we're getting like 8-10 viewers a week now, which really sucks. For an episode. Anyway.
It's alright. It's about the experience of doing it.
That's true. We'll grow.
For the 6 to 7 people that watch.
And we'll grow at some point.
Yeah.
Dave.
Hi.
You're number 2. Oh wait, did we do number 2s?
No.
We did our number 3s.
We did our number 3s.
What's your number 2? Your runner-up game of the year 2017.
My personal runner-up is going to be the point of contention. It is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
This fucking guy over here joking like that. I don't understand.
I knew.
Do you tell why? Well, I guess the reason why would have to be
I don't
what your
know.
game of the year is.
Yeah, like that's the key thing. Like
we're all wondering is why are you such an asshole, Dave?
There's a lot of reasons. There are a lot.
So
Blame my parents.
We're going to talk Zelda as a group. Did you want to hold off on that?
I will
to
hold
talk
off.
as a group when we.
Because I think I'll go more in depth.
I wonder why we're going to talk about Zelda as a group.
So.
I'll talk more about it when I get to my number 1.
Yeah. That's kind of needed for your unorthodox pick. No. My runner-up game of the year is Assassin's Creed Origins, which we said we would talk about more after.
That's pretty fucked, man.
Oh, bro. Like, that game is so...
Trashing's Creed, man.
You little fucker.
How far have you gotten in it, by the way?
I watched someone play it for.
Oh, okay.
Oh, makes sense.
Interesting.
So, listen, this game...
I just like to troll.
I know you do. And I love you for it anyway. In spite of it. Assassin's Creed Origins was fucking phenomenal. Dave touched on it a little bit earlier. Dave. The game was beautiful. It is an amazing new setting for the Assassin's Creed universe. I think it should have been called Assassin's Creed 5. Kind of like the way they did with 3 after the Brotherhood and the Revolution sequels. They weren't spin-offs, they were sequels. But then they're like, hey, no, this is Assassin's Creed 3. This is a big fucking deal. This is different. This is a move forward.
And
Well,
Origins is a stupid, useless name.
Yeah, that's very generic,
It's
which I
just
don't think
boring.
helped it any. But it is a success, and thankfully the series is back on track. But the game itself, much in the same way Resident Evil 7 did, it's kind of it is an origin story. You can enter it from an outsider's perspective and not have any outside knowledge of the inside knowledge of the Assassin's Creed universe and still enjoy it very much. The thing I liked, and you can add to this conversation too if you'd like,
I don't
is
want
that
to.
the okay. I like talking, so I can just
Yeah, I know.
We already talked a lot about it in AC Origins.
So anyway,
You will not yield his time.
the characters in Assassin's Creed Origins were probably the best since I always liked Kenway, the protagonist from Black Flag, which was also my favorite Assassin's Creed game still. Probably actually not as good of a game as Origins, but at the time it was just a very special game to me. But I had a special connection to Origins as well, almost just as much. Great game. Characters were great. Bayek, very different. He's very much a family man. The story was just as much about Aya. You just don't realize it as much at the beginning. Who is his wife, who is more directly responsible for the creation of the assassins, or what they call the hidden. Also, and like the first 80% of the game is just about them and their personal struggle with losing their child and trying to balance their allegiance to Cleopatra of Egypt and their duty as basically like cops in Egypt with getting revenge for the murder of their child a couple of years ago. And in the process, the game really, we're not going to spoil the whole game, but the game has almost nothing to do with the Templars, at least directly.
Yeah.
I kind of thought they were building up to the creation of the Templars as well, but they weren't. It was just the assassins and the origin of the assassin lineage. Really cool. Aya, I think, was actually a stronger character than Bayek, but Bayek went through a very different character change than I had anticipated.
I liked that he was actually a warmer character.
Yeah, he
Like-
wasn't just a cold-hearted motherfucker who
Yeah,
just
like-
wanted to kill everybody for no reason.
You could get that generic anti-hero type assassin, but
Which
he
they've done,
was but you could see how he took care of people, how he cared for the
Yeah.
people and his land,
Especially children.
the heritage, and especially the children.
The setting, it's a dream come true for the Assassin's Creed series and Assassin's Creed fans. Yes, I would like to see feudal Japan at some point too, just like everybody else, other than the developers, clearly. But it was a cool setting, extremely authentic to the time period, just like all the Assassin's Creeds are. But the map was fucking massive.
Yeah.
Every time, and somewhat of a spoiler, every time I thought, holy shit, this has to be the outer rim of the map because this is so much real estate. You get further in the storyline, you realize that Egypt is only half the game. You also have Rome. Like, holy shit. And then, like, all the architecture changes. All the fucking soldiers are Roman soldiers. Everything just looks and reacts differently. and the weather patterns. And I'm playing on Xbox One X, which this game was clearly optimized to be played in true native 4K on that system. Looks fucking beautiful, especially for having so much performance issues, which I said off camera last week. With Assassin's Creed Origins just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, what a massively garbage game in every possible.
You mean Unity?
Unity. What did I say?
You said Origins again.
Was it
Oh, no.
Syndicate that came out a couple years ago?
Syndicate was the last one 2 years ago, but before that, Unity.
But
So-
wasn't Syndicate pretty garbo too?
No, that was
Yeah, that
actually
was
very
actually
well
pretty
received. It just
well.
didn't sell because everybody had that Unity effect where they knew the Unity sucked and they were done with Assassin's Creed at the time. So yeah, apparently Syndicate was pretty good, but it just didn't sell. They took 2 years. Well, they took a year off, so 2 years in between, and now Origins is here. You can tell they put so much love and care into this game, and it shows. It was a great fucking game, and it's an RPG now instead of just like this fucking stealth action game. So it was a good reboot for the series. Loved the characters. Nothing but praise for that game. Was it perfect? No, there were a couple spots where. What are my complaints about the game?
The side quests are somewhat inconsequential.
Yeah, when you can hit we took different approaches to the game. You
Yeah.
did all the side stuff first. I did mostly the main storyline first, and you can hit the level cap pretty easily. And there will still be tons of side quests left. A lot of the side quests are cool, but after you're in your level 20s, the side quests don't fucking mean anything, man, and they're inconsequential. You'll be chasing down a cat for somebody, or they'll say, the little kid salesman will say, "Oh, these asshole pirates from fucking the other side of Egypt took my fucking shit. Go get it back, and I'll give you a sword." And it's like, all right, I'm just doing this for the experience points. But other than that, they fixed the fucking combat. Combat's great. If you want to just go in there and whip ass, you can totally open a can. You don't have to fucking sneak around, but I found myself sneaking around when it was optional just because it was fun. And there were so many different avenues you could take in terms of the combat and beating different missions.
I did ranged much more
Yep,
in
me too.
this game than I have in any past games.
Yep. And if you want to just go in with big, blunt, fucking, sledgehammer type fucking ancient Egyptian weapons and just maul fucking motherfuckers you can. You want to hunt? The hunting's done better than 3, which I think is something that was done really well in 3.
Mm-hmm.
The first year that they added that, the rural wilderness areas and the hunting and scalping and all that stuff. I really like Assassin's Creed Origins. Matt, what's your
Number 2
second,
pick?
your runner-up game of the year?
We have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Couldn't have guessed beforehand.
It's fairly obvious. It's Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I know. Just honestly a fucking phenomenal game. Did a really good job. I think it's some of Mario at its best. My biggest criticisms of it pretty much is the fact that the game is not particularly hard, but I don't think that's really what matters in a Mario game. And it debatably, people have different thoughts on it. And it's definitely more of a collectathon than it is a platforming challenge. Honestly, this game rewards you for pretty much exploring anywhere and doing anything. It will reward you for it. And I think that's pretty cool. I like the fact that it's a collectathon. It's a collectathon done correctly in some respects. And some of the moods are legitimately difficult to find. And I think that's pretty cool. Presentation is fucking top notch. Capturing enemies, awesome. I find that it's innovative and you can really kind of think outside the box in some cases. And then in some cases it kind of really spoon feeds it to you. I think the movement is really well done. The cappy jump on top of jumping, dive, into cappy jump, and all that stuff
That's
is
tough, yeah.
yeah, and it's really cool.
I think that's amazing because I've seen a lot of those things, like the speed runs and things.
Some absolutely fucking baller jumps.
That's amazing.
And the movement was just so out there, and they tried something different at the end of the game. Have both of you guys finished it?
Yeah.
No.
You haven't finished
No.
it?
Really?
Really?
Oh, shit.
I don't want to spoil it for you because it's legitimately interesting. If you unless you want me to spoil it.
I don't mind, but also think about the viewership.
Yeah.
We can put the spoiler.
You can put
thing up.
This is the warning right now. Huge, massive fucking spoiler for one of the potential game of the years for a lot of people.
Mario is the villain.
Yeah, well, no.
Kind of seems that way.
Not exactly.
Peach looked like she was enjoying it. She looked like she wanted to be. He took her to the moon. It's not like she tried to get away.
So
her friends and family were there.
Essentially, at the end of the game, you get to capture
the entire
Bowser.
kingdom. He was going to. They were actually going to share the kingdom together. It was going to bring a lot of money into that kingdom. A huge economic boom.
You get to basically Bowser.
Capture Bowser.
Well, yeah, you get to capture Bowser, and you use Bowser to fight through the center of the moon, back up onto the, the surface.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
Yeah, you were fighting through the center of the moon, and then you burst through the side of the moon, and then you appear on the, get back on the surface, and then you get back to the Odyssey. And it was pretty fun. I thought the ending where you you try to Bowser and Mario try to hand the flower to Peach. I was like, whatever.
I kind of thought
he should have kicked Bowser's fucking ass back to Earth, man. After all that shit, fuck off, bro. Seriously. But
okay.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just fucking awesome. And then you unlock Mushroom Kingdom, and you can play as Yoshi. My biggest complaint, though, is that you don't ride Yoshi. You have to capture Yoshi, which breaks the fucking, the notion of what I thought was going to happen there. Because now you can't do, the crazy Yoshi jumps. You can do the flutter jump, obviously, but you can't, flutter jump off of Yoshi into a cap jump into a dive and then, reach a moon or something. You just capture Yoshi and you can flutter jump. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was really good. Really solid. A lot of moons to collect. Nothing more satisfying than seeing a massive chain of moons flying to the Odyssey. I got 70 at one time.
I did that too.
It's pretty cool.
Did you see a speedrunner got them all 999 in one shot without saving or putting any in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I read. I don't know how he did that between worlds, though.
Probably, there's some glitches that there is. And they actually just found out how to do an infinite jump. The big, nuts that you grab to throw it. Yeah. The big nuts that you run around, you find, and you put them in the pot plants. Or the pot planters. Whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. It's 1:30 in the morning.
Sorry.
Well, you do this thing where you throw the nut, and then you do a ground pound, or you do a cap jump onto it or something, and then you just perpetually grab the nut and jump, and you can do an infinite jump, and speedrunners have been using it to fucking break the game and beat it in an hour.
That's like with Zelda, they found it's not even a glitch, but you can get in one of the mine carts and use the fucking magnet piece to put something under the cart and raise it and just have a magic carpet ride anywhere in the level that you want.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No.
There's always finding something new with that game because that game's all physics based though. So.
Yeah.
But
I
was
was just gonna say that's pretty much the gist.
It was a super cool game. I still want to make a video on that at one point.
I'm really surprised it's not even in your top 3.
I am such a mega diehard Mario game, and it's not like I was disappointed with the game. I really enjoyed it. I just
you found better games this year.
Yeah.
In your opinion.
And not only that, and I don't want to shit on it when we're talking about games of the year, but
what was your number 3 again?
PUBG.
PUBG. Yeah.
And then Assassin's Creed Origins, but it was a really great game.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I feel like there's better Mario games out there. Even in the 3D ones, I thought Galaxy was a supremely better game.
It's hard to really define a platformer kind of in that way. And the way that I mean it is there's varying types of platformers. That was obviously a collectathon.
Well, that's what all the 3D Mario games are, though.
Well, not as much, though. Because in I mean, did you play through Sunshine?
Mhm.
And did you play through 64?
100% 64, 100% of Sunshine,
was a-
100% of Galaxy.
But the key difference is there's 100-something stars in 64 and Sunshine, whereas there's 999
Right.
in Odyssey. There's a lot more collecting going on.
There's more
And it would also
collecting.
kick you back to the beginning for
Right.
every
To
single
prolong the
star.
gameplay, right?
Right. So it's really not as collecty as we would think. They would give you individual challenges or bosses in Sunshine to lead up to that. So like the PD Piranha boss right at the bottom of the lighthouse, like that wouldn't happen if you're just in the stage going for another star. But that would happen when you're going for that particular star at the top of the lighthouse because PD Piranha's at the bottom, and that's the whole point of going back to it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
there's specific goals for each one of the stars, whereas
There are-
that one there's not.
There are more moons, but it's also the entire point of all the 3D Marios are to get the star, the shine spray, or the moons.
To go down to the next
The only
one.
main they're all collectathons, but the main difference in Odyssey is that there's more of them, and it doesn't kick you back to the beginning of the level. It's more sandboxy.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if I would necessarily consider Sunshine and 64 collectathons. They're more like give you individual platforming challenges, and then the reward is the star at the end that allows you to get to the next portrait or section of Delfino. You know, like I really don't feel that that's a collectathon, but that comes down to debate and all that shit. But I don't know.
This is true. It was a good game, though. I enjoyed it. How many moons did you end up getting?
I only have like a little under 600 right now.
I'm at 504.
But I honestly, so many fucking games coming out on the Switch right at the
Yeah.
moment. Like, I got Odyssey, and then Doom came out right before it, I think, and Skyrim came out not too long ago, and Xenoblade 2, and on the 7th there's an indie title that's actually coming out on the Switch that looks pretty cool. It's like a Castlevania-esque game. I forget exactly what it's called.
Not Bloodstained, is it?
No, it's not Bloodstained. It's actually I can look it up really quick because it's worth a plug.
And they better, support our channel.
It's okay. It only takes 1 second, Justin. You can even do a fucking skip. It's not a big deal. It's Did it get delayed? No, that's not that one. Oh, Slain Back from Hell. But it looks like Castlevania.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited for it.
It's a lot of big indie games coming to Switch.
Yeah. Apparently the Switch is like a fucking indie machine, essentially, because I've heard that Sonic Mania actually outsold on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One combined.
Yeah.
As far as Sonic Mania sales.
Makes
I'm
sense.
Which
glad
is-
I got it on Switch.
Which is fucking awesome. That's awesome.
Well,
That's really good
Sonic
news.
Sonic and Sega has been so closely associated with Nintendo since going third party that it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't like when they do exclusive Sonic games on other platforms. Like Sonic 2006, even though it sucked, it wasn't even on Wii or anything else, really.
It was on PS3 and Xbox.
Yeah, but it wasn't on a Nintendo console, that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we're kind of off base. Let's do our official
Game of the Year.
2017 Game of the Year picks. Dave,
Personal game of the years.
what is your game of the year?
Here it comes.
Yep, much to Matt's dismay. As if you're a loyal viewer, know that he's not happy about this. because he's played so much of it. Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm gonna have to say this in terms of why I chose this over Zelda, I suppose, and why it's my personal game of the year, the one that struck me more than Legend of Zelda. And it comes down very much towards character. I had much more of a connection with the main character of Horizon Zero Dawn, Aloy, who is an outcast, who is voiced by Ashley Birch. She is an actual character that I cared about, I learned about, that you understood her insecurities, what made her a strong person, what made her a hero. And I guess I should note this too. How many Legend of Zelda games have you guys beaten?
I mean, okay, I gotta think about this.
You have to do long division in order to actually find out how many Legend of Zelda games.
Never beat Finish Camp. Never beat.
I think 8.
8?
Yeah. Why?
Wait for Matt to come in.
I think I've beaten like 6.
6?
Yeah.
So you've been in them for the long haul, both of you guys. This would be my first Legend of Zelda game that I've ever beaten. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. My point being is that I didn't have this kind of childhood attachment to the series. I didn't have the nostalgia to carry me through.
That makes sense.
Through a lot of it. So, I know that much of the backstory for Legend of Zelda was Dark Soul-esque in that it doesn't outright tell you things about what's happened to Hyrule and what's going on.
It assumes you have the prior knowledge.
The most that you see really about this game is Zelda. If you take the time and go through the cutscenes and you go back,
you find the memories.
You find the memories on your own accord. You don't even have to do that in order to beat the game.
You don't have to do shit.
Yeah, you could run in and just defeat Ganon if
as long as you're beast enough.
Yeah. But I did go. I got the Master Sword. I did get each one of those. I didn't do the side missions. Screw that. Collect 80 grasshoppers. No, no, Matt. No.
Hey, that's whatever. I don't specifically remember a quest where you collect 80 grasshoppers, and I've done pretty much all of them, so I would know.
Matt and I are gonna suck Zelda's dick in a minute.
Yeah.
So you go ahead.
This is my.
You better rail on it good because I'm gonna rail on Horizon Zero Dawn.
The thing is, I don't.
There's a lot to rail on.
Yes, a lot to rail on from personal experience.
You don't have to have an opinion.
That is true.
So,
but not an informed opinion.
I haven't played enough to be able to have an opinion.
So again, I want to make this very apparent too. This is a personal pick.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of people's game of the year this year, though.
Yeah,
I'm not in any way disregarding your pick. I think it's a good pick for what you played and for what you think is your game of the year. I just for me there's just standout differences between the games, but it comes down to personal preference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that this is really the first Legend of Zelda that I played that really doesn't hold your hand.
Thank God.
Except for Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask doesn't hold your hand.
Oh yeah, but that one kind of slaps you around a little bit too much.
It's just frustrating. Downright frustrating.
But I think a major part of why I enjoy Horizon Zero Dawn is that there is an intense amount of mystery to the backstory of that game that is unfolded as you play. That I never felt that type. It was, gotta go to Hyrule Castle and defeat Ganon.
It was very nostalgia driven. Well, we'll talk about Zelda after.
Yes. So I didn't have all of that kind of warm and cozy game. I'm more than happy to say that it did some excellent things mechanically wise. Brilliant, unique things that really catapulted the game forward. It catapulted the genre forward that we've already seen. But I also have to say that the developers of Horizon Zero Dawn have pretty much only made Killzone games.
Probably not by choice.
Probably not by choice.
Clearly.
And they haven't been bad first-person shooters. Specifically, Killzone 2 stands out as kind of like
One of
their
the
masterworks. But to totally turn around from first-person shooter to first-person shooter, first-person shooter to a third-person open-world RPG where it's narrative-driven and there are side quests and NPCs that you actually have to talk to, that you choose branching questions and build your character and build a unique style, and robot dinosaurs. Like, it's so unique in that sense for that developer to finally see them basically do, I think, a passion project for them, that they clearly wanted to make this game more than anything else, and they put that time and polish and heart into that game.
If I can interrupt, Sony's in such a great position right now. Well, fucking 4 years straight running the leading console in the fucking world, where they haven't had a single holiday AAA game, unless you count Little Big Planet 3, which absolutely flopped a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And they haven't needed it because they're still leading the console race by such wide margins. So they're allowing all of their developers to do passion projects like that, or Detroit Become Human, or fucking, what was the other one that stands out?
You're talking about fucking.
I can't even think of it, but yeah, whatever.
Kojima's game. Death Stranding.
Well, that too, but he's a special case. But they're letting the Killzone developer not make the fucking Killzone games anymore because.
Guerrilla? Wasn't it Guerrilla?
Yeah, it was Guerrilla. But they don't have to make another Killzone right now because they're gonna let them spread their wings and do something different. Whereas, like you said, Call of Duty World War II, you could tell that the developers probably didn't want to make that game.
Yeah.
It's because they're stuck in the 3-year dev cycle of always making another Call of Duty. And that's what was happening with Killzone. The Killzone games were fine, but now they actually got to develop something that they gave a damn about. So that's cool.
And personally, just valuing single-player experiences with strong story, not only from the storyline process and that mystery of why the world is how it is, which I definitely don't want to spoil for you guys or the viewers, but also strong character writing, which really does quite service to the game overall.
Yeah. I mean, and these are my opinions on 4 hours of Horizon Zero Dawn. Being very clear about that. I played about 4 hours of it. And I know that's not exactly a lot of time, but in that time I played, I saw a lot of the same trends that I see in a lot of games that come out recently. And it's one of my scares that I have with God of War, because I legitimately like God of War games.
Can't fucking wait.
But I'm also afraid for God of War that's coming out this June.
I have
for the same reasons. I heard it was going to be like June.
I'm sure it'll be delayed, but I think it's February.
But it basically comes down to overuse of cinematic, and maybe that's because I was at the beginning of the game. Could very well be that. But I felt like for the majority of the time I was playing that game, I was just running to the next cinematic.
You mean like The Witcher 3?
Well,
Which was my complaint about The Witcher 3.
hey, that's totally valid complaint. It's just it didn't seem as engaging. I didn't get a lot of engagement out of the game. I got a lot of I'm walking around as a child and
Playing
then
a movie.
and then I'm playing a movie, and that was a huge complaint for me. And then the game treated me like I was dumb when I actually began playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so you draw your bow and then it like stops and it tells you to shoot the red thing on the dinosaur, and I'm like, I could have fucking gathered that. I'm like, I really truly could have fucking figured that out. And then like you walk over to a campfire and it tells you about the camp. Like, I can figure this shit out. And maybe it's really bad timing, but it also came out right after Zelda.
Yes.
That's a huge thing.
And it was like, basically I went from like fucking legitimate, amazing fucking Game of the Year contender, and it did everything opposite of what Horizon did. And it was just like, Zelda throws you into the game and it says, fuck you, figure it out, dude. And then Horizon throws you into the game and it's like, sits you in a cinematic for a little while, you walk around as a kid, and then it tells you how to shoot the glowing red mark on a dinosaur. I fucking get that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was my mindset that affected that, but it kind of developed a lasting impression on it for me.
That's fair, and I do think it is very much because you can only play the opening, because that...
I got to the point essentially where it opens up.
Yeah,
and I played a little bit of the opening.
After it opens up, like, you will rarely see a cutscene.
Yeah.
And it will not hold your hand, and you will run into brand new robot dinosaurs or robot creatures that you will think, oh shit, how the hell am I going to do this?
Yeah. And, there was a lot of, like, and now that I reflect back upon it, it's funny because it's like, it tried to teach me everything that I just got done learning on my own in Zelda. So, like, hide in the tall grass by crouching in the grass. And instead it gives me a 20-minute fucking tutorial on how to hide in grass. And I'm like...
And you can't parachute off anything.
And you can't parachute off things.
Can't parachute.
And, I was just a bit, like, thrown off, so I felt like, wow, where's the pacing in this game? There's no fucking pacing. What the fuck?
There's an interesting... there's 2 points that I want to make to it.
Yeah.
One...
That's just why I give it so much shit.
Yeah. And I understand it too. But one, I think also I had a different experience because I started Horizon Zero Dawn
instead of Zelda.
And I started it and I stopped. I started it, got to the point where it was opening up, and I stopped. And then we went to PAX. And
then played Zelda.
And I played Zelda the whole time. And I ended up, I was like, I'm not going to go back to Horizon until I've beaten Zelda.
Yeah.
And I went through all of Zelda. And then I went back to Horizon.
And it was already opened up.
And it was opened up for me, and I got to play that game.
I think this year it came down to what the fuck did you play first.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's not the case because all these January, February, March releases always get buried by the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking Academy Awards. It's like all the award season movies come out. Yeah. What is it, in December? Yeah, it's in December because those are the artsy fucking movies. They're not the Avengers. They're not the Star Wars usually. Bad example. Comes out this month, 2 weeks. But I mean, like, usually it's the same thing. It's all fucking October, November. It's all the fucking... Well, it used to be a Call of Duty, but not anymore. It's all the fucking... the Wolfensteins or the Fallouts or things like that come out in November. So... Did you ever anything to add?
That was just my rebuttal.
Yeah. My one other thing is that it has an excellent ability. Right now, I started the expansion 10 levels above its intended starting point. And despite that, I don't feel overpowered. And that's been kind of a thing throughout the entire game. At no point have I ever felt like, in Assassin's Creed, I've reached the top level and I can just run through the entire campaign with minimal sweat. But for Horizon, if you get in one bad situation where you're you've got 5 enemies against you, because a lot of the larger enemies feel like mini bosses. They feel some of the largest enemies aren't bosses, but they feel like bosses. Where if you're caught off guard, if you're not on the top of your game, you will get wiped.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that as well.
Yeah. A lot of, just to say another thing that came to my mind too, a lot of what I noticed and again, played Zelda first, so it's from that perspective, but like in Zelda there's so many like little things that happen because of the fact that it's not as
It's not scripted.
well, it's not as scripted, but it's also not as like graphically intense. So like Horizon Zero Dawn is a very pretty game. It's a very realistic looking game. So a lot of what gets kind of treaded over in Horizon, Zelda can accentuate to some degree. Like a fish jumping out of the air and making a flop, and you hear the plop in the water. Like that happens.
Okay.
Where in Horizon, like, you walk into the water and it just kind of makes a sploosh noise, and then you go, and you hear the water and stuff. But in Zelda, you can, like, do a dive, and then you hear the intricate splash, and then you can hear each stroke and everything. It's a little bit different. I don't know, and, like, the fact that crafting, it's so natural. Like, in Horizon Zero Dawn, you go to a menu, and then you craft whatever you have materials for. In Zelda, I mean, you chop down the tree, you shoot a fire arrow, it turns into a campfire, and then you drop an apple onto it, and it literally just cooks the apple. Like, it's that easy. There's no... It does so much with so much less. You know what I'm saying?
I understand to a certain extent,
Yeah.
I'm still fishing through menus to get to like the objects to throw it out into the world.
Well, definitely.
But it is
you can
a much more interesting experience watching that. It's the show don't tell type style of things.
Yeah, and then it just makes you think about things a little bit differently. Like you can chop down a tree in Zelda, where if you could swing wildly towards even like a small like tree branch or sapling of a tree, nothing happens to it. You know, just small shit like that. That's just kind of accentuated from the time in which I played it. Maybe it would be a totally different story if I played Horizon first. It probably would be, but
ugh, I got some of my beard stuck.
You should keep that part.
Yeah, I'll keep it in.
Yeah.
It's not as funny when I keep saying I'll keep it in. I do that often. For the hit of you that watch, plus Dave. Okay, so I think it goes without saying. My bro. My Nintendo bro.
Yeah.
My Nintendo bro.
Yeah.
Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild is our 2017 Game of the Year.
it's not mine.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh my god, I was like, whoa! After all that, sucking? Surprise.
No, yeah.
Sonic Forces.
Okay.
It's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, everyone.
Do you want to start? Maybe we can bounce off each other and Dave can jump in if he feels like it.
Yeah.
But
I
obviously
enjoyed the game.
Zelda was enjoyable. Go figure for you, me, and everyone at home.
Do you think somebody disliked it?
Well,
I
they're
know somebody
dumbass.
that
Really?
actually dislikes it, yeah.
Then they're dumb.
Yeah, he's at work and he thought it you got overpowered very easily and it became a cakewalk.
Okay.
You became overpowered?
Yeah, like
Then
Link,
he's dumb.
Link became overpowered and it was a cakewalk.
No.
One,
that game's not a cakewalk, and two, the fucking enemies constantly fucking level up with you, and even the fucking bokoblins, which are like
it just
the
takes,
Goombas of the Zelda fucking games, are constantly a threat to your fucking livelihood. I mean, am I wrong?
No.
Okay.
In my opinion, you're not.
Especially when my weapons keep breaking.
Oh my god, okay, so...
I don't even think that's an issue. I think people who complain about weapons breaking are honestly, like, borderline dumb.
In Zelda,
like, let's be honest.
it worked. In a game like Oblivion, it was fucking annoying
Yeah.
as shit. Okay, weapon degradation and Fallout 3, complete horse shit. Okay, I just want to put that there. So
No, yeah.
suck Zelda's dick a little bit so I can get some of that.
Okay. Well, The things that, for me, that made Zelda great is, like I was explaining when I was talking to Dave, and we were going back and forth with Horizon Zero Dawn stuff. It does a lot with a lot less. So there's not as many menus. There's still menus. Some people would even call them frustrating to some degree. Yeah, and because it's like a quick swap menu, like the majority of the time you're using the quick swap stuff, and then when you actually have to find an item, you go into the menu. But like just the absolute simplicity of everything and the natural flow of progression of things. So you get off the Great Plateau, and obviously that's a little bit of a scripted section just to kind of get you going so you know what the base level is of the game. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, and this is how shit works. And you understand that, and it gives you the tools to survive, which many people complained about, that they gave you the tools at the start. They wanted you to have the fucking get the tools as you went, but it would defeat the entire purpose of the game. I don't understand that argument. I really don't. I mean, I think it's good either way.
I think Zelda traditionalists were upset that you got all of the equipment at the beginning rather than getting one per dungeon.
But that's the whole point, was to not have dungeons. And I don't know. I think that it was supremely genius to give you everything, and then it passes the responsibility off in a non bad game design way. It passes the responsibility off to the player. Like, it's
You're not wrong.
It's up to you to make decisions with these tools we give you, and if you fuck up or you just don't use them, that's your prerogative, but we're going to give them to you, and if you don't use them, then you can choose to do that. So there's so many things that, normal, like if you just playing through it to play through it, you swing wildly and they're like, oh, it's just dumb. You lock onto them and then you swing and you dodge, and like that's all you have to do. But not really. You can pick up that big metal box with the magnet and fucking slam it into them. They drop their sword, and you can pick it up and throw it back at them. Or you can, in some cases, you can throw a boomerang. If it's a metal boomerang, catch it while it's spinning with a magnet, and then use it as a fucking buzzsaw to fly through everything. But people don't think about that in normal terms because you wouldn't naturally think of that. But then you get into the experimental phase, and you can start experimenting with things, and then you find certain weird timed things that are related to side quests, not necessarily the main objective, which is another feat in itself, is not having you directly rely on doing the main objective. There's no forcing you to do that. Almost like a Skyrim-esque. I hate.
You did it. You did the thing that you were.
Yeah, but it doesn't force you to do it. Is what I'm saying though. It doesn't force you to do anything along those lines. You can just play the game how you want. You don't have to beat all the bosses.
At no point do you unlock more of the world.
Right.
Because of the main quest.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. The music was so simple, and it obviously had grand, symphonic times to it. Like when you were in Hyrule Castle, obviously there was going to be the Hyrule Castle theme, and it was all fucked up and stuff. But when you're just riding on your horse through Hyrule Field, you get the little twinkles, and you get the elegant nature of everything, and it gives you almost like a chance to think, and the game doesn't think for you or tell you when you're supposed to be excited or what you're supposed to be feeling. Because in a lot of games, when you get near an enemy, it's gonna ramp up and have the dramatic battle music, but it doesn't really do that the majority of the time. In some cases, it does do that, but in the majority of the time, you're just running through a field and you see bokoblins, they start shooting at you. It's up to you whether or not you're going to engage with them. And then when you do, it's just normal. You hear your horse whinnying in the background, and you're slashing a motherfucker, and you're picking shit up and throwing it at them, and engaging with these enemies, but it's not telling you how you're supposed to feel while you're doing this. I think it's really cool, and then And then it comes down to the pure physics of things. So pushing a boulder down a mountain and then it rolling into like bokoblins or whatever. Just simple things like that make it so elegant and fluid and enjoyable. And taming your own horse and like different clothes you're wearing affect how people react to you and different situations, and you can hear the clang of weapons when they hit the ground. So like instead of
you can do that in a lot of games.
But like if you throw it against a wall, it goes chink, and then you can hear it rolling down. Or
the audio design was so on point. Is basically what you're trying to say, because that's you bring
can
that up
hear
often, but you're right.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just hear everything, and it's very superb. I can only imagine.
You knew what he meant.
I know what he meant.
You can only like.
I'm trying to amp up the actual entertainment here.
Yeah, I can. I didn't play the majority of the game with headphones or anything like that, but I can only imagine if you played it with some fucking kick-ass headphones.
That game has such an atmosphere to it.
It did.
That's basically what you're trying to say.
It did.
And the
job.
grass, like it was cell shaded, but like the art direction was beautiful. The grass, every time you walked through it, and you could hear the fucking wisp of the wind coming through.
You're doing it too,
right?
Yeah,
no,
it's that.
The audio direction was beautiful. That was 50% of the atmosphere was the sound.
The best part is half of it wasn't even music. It was just the game.
It was just the game, yeah. It was just the nature. It was the
being
wild.
there.
Did you have anything else to add before I?
No, not really. You can kind of unload on that.
So I completely agree with everything you said. Obviously, it is very much a 10 out of a 10, 10 out of 10 style of game. But I like, okay, so there's a couple things. I'll have a little bit of a bulleted list that I didn't have planned. It's just kind of coming off the top of my head.
Yeah.
One, the absence of dungeons and the absence of traditional Zelda.
Yeah, I didn't even really touch on gameplay.
Yeah, the traditional Zelda blueprint was thrown right out the window. And Nintendo
Or I
gave...
guess you could say that we went back to the even more traditional format.
Yeah, that's true too. To the original game. The original Legend of Zelda is very reminiscent of that in its simplicity and its open worldness. But the fact that they took the 17 sequels worth of blueprints where you get this one item, you get the hook shot from going into this dungeon, and then, oh, this dungeon is naturally the next one, so you'll get the boomerang out of this one once you beat that boss. They threw that all out the window. They had micro dungeons in the shrines, which were so cool because there was a meta game inside of the open world part of the game where if you tripped upon the shrine, you're going to get another heart piece. And just the cool little, much like Resident Evil 7, the cool little nods to the entire series where you would go inside and you would find a mummified, the mummified remains of Hyrulean.
They're like sages.
The sages, exactly. You're basically in their crypt. You're basically in their
tomb.
Their tomb. That's good. It's late. Though just the hunting for all of the fucking the Korok seeds were that was just bullshit. There were too many of them, and you couldn't track any of them. So that's fucking crazy. People that want to 100% it, no, 100%ing that game is finding all the shrines, which I did not do, but I found the majority of them.
I'm fairly close, honestly. I'm at like 90 something, I think.
I was.
It's
70.
Like it's like 120.
Yeah.
For all of it, it's like 120 something, I think.
Yeah. But the shrine hunting was just so cool. But then there was also the fact that, hey, guess what? Link doesn't have his one stupid green elf tunic in every scene this time. Like, even the generic Link that was on the cover, or that was in all the commercials and stuff, it had a blue fucking weird
And it's just a very whatever piece of clothing.
Yeah, but it was so cool. And now it's iconic because the
Yeah.
game was so fucking huge. Now they're making action figures and plushies on it and t-shirts and everything. But it wasn't the same series norms over and over again, which was pretty cool. Yeah, at the same time, they disguised a lot of them. Like when you're on the Great Plateau and you're talking to the king, you don't even know it's the king at first.
He's just the old man.
It's the fucking old man who's the first person you run into in the original Legend of Zelda that gives you the fucking sword. And you don't realize that they're emulating that until after and you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
So every night I play that game, spend hours,
Or you'll never know that that's what they're emulating. Because
if you didn't play those. But there were so many times in that game where I would spend hours in that game late at night and then go to bed and start thinking about the once in a lifetime experiences I would have, and that would never be replicated again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it almost has that PUBG kind of factor.
yeah, because it was just so beautiful. But they would take. Oh, okay. So the other thing that I like that Nintendo did with this game was that they took this amazing franchise and they took aspects from all these other games like Skyrim or Assassin's Creed with the fucking towers and all of these other series norms from all of these other games, and they didn't copy what they did, but they took what they did, they emulated it, and they made it better, and they perfected it. You know what I mean? So it's like in Assassin's Creed, it's like, okay, go up to this fucking bell tower and then synchronize your view to see that entire area of the map. But in fucking Zelda, it was like...
It was the challenge.
It's going to be really hard to get up on top of this fucking tower. And some of them were so tall that you literally had to climb them out and then fucking parachute over to it because you couldn't climb it from the bottom. Like, everyone was its own puzzle.
And some of them were just straight up fucking plagueated. Like,
yeah,
bruh, you didn't do enough shrines. You haven't updated your stamina. Like,
you can't
just
possibly climb it.
Don't bother.
Just come back later.
Come back later when you ate a bitch. Like,
and then the fact that like everything was a challenge in that game. Like I said earlier, how the bokoblins, they were the Goombas of the fucking Zelda series in the entire series before. But in this one, it's
legitimate threat.
They're all a legitimate threat. You could go somewhere as beautiful as every location in that game was. Danger was always just lurking right around the corner, and you weren't really sure where it was. And if you saw a bokoblin, you could tell immediately by the number of fucking little pieces on his belt, or like the color he was, or the size of his fucking sword, how much of a threat he was going to be, because some of them were more powerful than others.
Right.
And they just did so many things so wonderfully and so flawlessly, whereas the game of the year each year, if you go back and you look at like fucking I can't speak for The Witcher 3, but like Batman Arkham Asylum back in 2010, Skyrim in 2011, Uncharted 2 a couple years ago. All of these games were great, but I don't really feel like any of them were 10 out of 10s. And there's very few games that get perfect scores across the board.
And Zelda was one.
But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was very close to a perfect game.
It was probably the closest we've really ever seen, honestly, in my personal opinion.
I mean, we've had a lot that didn't age well. So, like, when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out in 2008, everybody gave it perfect scores. That game is not a perfect game. In fact, it is so far from it. GTA 3 and GTA 5 were superior games. But at the time, it seemed like it was going to be great. You can tell that that Breath of the Wild is going to be one of those once-in-a-generation games that we will be talking about 10 years from now. Even Mario Galaxy, which was beautiful and just one of my favorite Mario games ever, that didn't age gracefully.
No.
It was not in HD. It had motion controls. It had very linear gameplay. Whereas Mario 64, that didn't age well either. Like it was one of the first fucking 3D platformers. It was perfected at the time, but the camera control is shit today. The graphics didn't age well, but like something like Super Mario World, those sprites, those 16-bit sprites age perfectly. There's a reason why there's so many 16-bit style games now, like Stardew Valley, or
just
Super Meat Boy.
Awesome.
Stardew Valley. Because Super Mario World is just one of those ageless games, and I think, and I hope, that even 5 years from now, we're going to look back at Breath of the Wild and say, yeah, that game was pretty timeless, and it was a 10 out of 10. I guess that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on, like the weapons breaking and stuff like that. I think the best part about Zelda Breath of the Wild. It was the way that it made you care about everything you were holding onto. Like, to the point where I carried the same weapons for hours and hours and hours just because I didn't want to break one.
Yeah, I did the same.
I felt like such a piece of shit if I had to use that weapon. But that was the funniest part, though, is then once you break out of that mindset of, why am I holding this? This is a utility. I'm going to find another one.
But what if you don't?
But what if you don't?
What if you're in the middle of fucking nowhere?
Right. Like, what if you're on the top of a fucking mountain and there's no way that you're
And then you
gonna
run
find
into one of those big motherfuckers.
Right, exactly.
What are they called?
There's the centaur type ones.
Lionels.
Lionel. Those are brand new, by the way. Those were never in a Zelda game.
They're ridiculous.
And every time you fucking ran into one of those, you're like,
Scared
this
shitless.
is some shit right now. He doesn't smell me yet, and he will never fucking attack you.
You have
unless
to
you attack
approach
him
him.
too. You have to take out your sword and like look like a legitimate threat. And most of the time, he's more of a threat to you than you are to him, because he's a bad motherfucker, and I want an amiibo.
Like, one of the very funny things, too, is you can get, like a Lionel mask.
Oh, yeah.
And you can sneak up on him and scare him.
Yep.
And he goes, what the fuck? And he won't attack you.
He won't attack you. He'll think you're one of his own.
Yeah, and he'll be like, oh, you're Lionel. Very cool. And you're just like this little boy with a Lionel mask on. And it's just so fucking funny. It's world-breakingly dumb. But it's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. And it happens with Lozalfos and Bokoblins. And I'm like, what the fuck? But you can just wear their mask and chill out with them. Just be like, you can take pictures with them and you can do whatever you want. It's so funny. And it does. The game also does an excellent job at putting you into hairy situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was just accentuated in the expansion that came out months ago. But, like, you'll be just, like, running through a field, and then all of a sudden there's bokoblins with spears, and they're swinging them. And like, obviously they're running at you on horses, and they're gonna fuck you up, dude. They're gonna fuck your shit up. And you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna start running, because this is kind of fucked. So you start running, and then you see another bokoblin with a fucking bow and arrow, and he's shooting at you, and you're like, oh shit, I'm really fucked up now. I'm gonna get killed, man. So you're running, but then you're like, wait, I can shoot a fire arrow at the tall grass, it burns the horses, they fall off the horses, and then I can actually get at them.
Yeah, the fact that it was all physics-based was crazy for a Nintendo game, because they've never done that before.
Right, and they nailed it.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention as well is, as much as I said, me too. As much as I said they broke down the series norms, which they did, they also paid tribute to so many aspects of all of the sequels over the years with Easter eggs, whereas they never said indisputably where exactly it fit on the timeline, but there were callbacks to almost every game. There's a fucking quest. Huh?
Majora's Mask.
Yep. Well, I was going to say specifically the quest where you can get the fucking Dark Link costume, which, what does it do? It doubles your attack power or something at night. I forget.
No, it makes you silent at night, I thought.
Okay. But the fact that you can get that costume in the first place is like super cool, because when the game came out, even though we're in the age of the internet, you would always hear something like, holy shit, there's a Dark Link costume in fucking Breath of the Wild, and everybody's like, how do you do it? Well, there's a quest for it, and you gotta get the helmet piece and the fucking
you gotta sell the guy monster guts.
Yeah, you gotta go hunt these monster guts, and it turns into this fucking legit quest. There were not a ton of throwaway quests like there were in Assassin's Creed Origins or in Skyrim, or you're not just getting experience points. Most of them did. But like that one in particular, I was just like, that's so fucking cool. And the reward is just to get this really cool costume that's a throwback to Zelda 2, which had nothing storyline-wise to do with Breath of the Wild. Dark Link was never mentioned in this. The character of Dark Link was never present. But you got that fucking costume complete with red eyes. Yeah. That's in that game as a throwback to a game from 1987. And then there was, it was almost all costume-based, but there was the fucking... and then the amiibo ones, like there's amiibo-specific ones. We had, I got that new Majora's Mask one, the little kid one that he's holding the,
I want that one so bad.
What are the rock, people, what are they called?
Gorons?
The Gorons. He's holding a Goron mask. And, like, you can get, what costume can you get with that amiibo? I don't even remember. But Then there's the fucking if you use the old the Toon Link amiibo, you get a chance at getting part of the Toon Link tunic from The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, which has absolutely nothing to do with Breath of the Wild at all.
They're
But
two separate parts of the timeline, if I remember right.
yeah, there's 3 different timelines. We don't have to get into that one, but
But
they definitely give you hints at where it's located in the timeline, but they never say indisputably, which is pretty cool because that just leads to the speculation.
Yeah. And they did the same thing with the champion amiibos and stuff like that too. You get a part of a piece of ancient armor for each one of the champion amiibo, and you get a chance to get their weapon and stuff like that, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really it conflicts me a little bit with how they did that.
I like how they did it.
I
Tasteful.
I like it as well. The whole notion of amiibo though, we had
where he's going.
Wait a minute.
no
Continue.
I don't know. We've had this conversation multiple times.
You and me?
Yeah.
Oh.
About the whole Skylanders versus amiibo thing.
Right. Just what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's really cool how they implemented it, and I like the fact that you get a physical figure out of it, because more often than not, I feel as though I'm buying a collectible figure rather than a piece of in-game content. But I can't help but part of me think that something like Breath of the Wild should have had that accessible from the get-go, instead of being
without having to purchase something extra in order to have access to it.
right.
I think it's tasteful the way they did it, because with Amiibo it's a little different where
because you actually get a collectible item, and that's why I'm not against it necessarily, because I'm getting something out of it more than just a charge on my card. I'm actually getting I have something to say that I have this and it's usable in other games, and that's why I guess it's justifiable. It's just I find it a little weird you can't get the Majora's Mask outfit in an obvious Zelda game, and it's an obvious throwback. You just had to get it from this one single retailer that sold this one amiibo, and if you don't have that amiibo, you're never going to get that in Breath of the Wild, and that's a little weird.
Especially for the limited items,
Right.
too.
And they're not readily available.
Yeah. That's I think that's one of the key things is
Right.
that if they were readily available and easy to get,
That's a
that
different
would
story.
be different.
But I found that happened. The Champion amiibo, super fucking easy to find right now. Really fucking easy to find.
that surprises me.
Yeah, but Twilight Princess Link, Majora's
That's
Mask
the
Link,
one I want.
Ocarina of Time Link, Skyward Sword Link, you don't fucking
That's
find
the
those
one I want.
anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't find them anywhere, and that kind of pisses me off, because I'm not going to get any of the shit from those amiibo. That kind of pisses me off. But shit happens, I guess.
Did you have anything to add about Zelda before we move on?
I think his opinion is fairly important on this too, because of the circumstance.
Yeah, no, I think I went over a lot of that in my last discussion of not having the nostalgia, but still pointing out that this is the first Zelda game that I felt compelled to complete.
Mm-hmm. And you did beat Ganon and all that, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So I did actually complete the game and saw the true ending. But I think it's important to say this. What I throughout the episode made sure to say that this is the Horizon Zero Dawn is my personal game of the year.
I don't think you're going to catch any flack.
No.
That's what
But
you're worried about.
the game of the year, in my opinion, is Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
So I think
That is the game of this year, of 2017. When you go back to 2017 and go, what was the best game that came out? It's not going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. I liked it the most, but the game of the year is Legend of Zelda.
When you look back at 2017, it's going to say Zelda on it.
It seems
That's
like
the
we have
usual.
a consensus. So, all in favor of making Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Leftover Pants' official, first ever official, but also the 2017 official Game of the Year. Say aye.
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 Hey.
Point that shit out, my dude.
Okay, so The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is our first official game of the year. Before we move on-
Revolutionary. I'm sure no one else will do that.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
Well, here's what I'm worried
I'm
about.
sure the Game Awards won't do that.
Exactly. Nice transition because that's where we're going
Oh,
next.
fucking Jeff Keighley didn't get paid off this year.
What I'm
Fucking
worried
asshole.
about, honestly, what I'm worried about for Game of the Year for the Game
I
Awards.
hate Jeff Keighley. I'm being honest with you.
Okay, well,
It's kind of a
hold
douchebag.
That's kind of why I like him.
I'm worried. Well, all the different outlets vote on each category, so it's not like the Academy for the Academy Awards or anything. So, like, kind of Funny Kids votes on all this. IGN, anybody who's anybody in this industry gets to vote on this, so it's kind of all inclusive.
We're kind of anybody.
I wish we were, buddy.
We should send in our email to
Send it to Jeff.
for the Game
So,
Award.
for the Game Award predictions, which
Have
we're
the
going to do in a
subject name,
second,
fuck you, Jeff.
but I
And
do
then
want
just
to.
say Zelda Breath of the Wild.
But I do want to mention, and now I completely lost my train of thought because you kept interrupting me.
Sorry. Whoever's
You
anybody gets
fucker.
to vote on this, and then
What I was gonna say was I hope that the Nintendo vote doesn't get split because of all the podcasts I listen to,
it's between
people
Mario
are
and
saying Zelda or Mario. If that fucking happens, something like Horizon Zero Dawn or Persona 5, to a lesser extent, has a good chance of winning Game of the Year. Which, if there is any one year where I am supremely
voting for Nintendo to
all in for a specific game to win Game of the Year, it's Breath of the Wild, because that should win every publication's Game of the Year this year. It just should. It's a fact of life. Last year, just as an overview, last year Overwatch won Game of the Year for more publications than any other game, and it also won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. So without further ado, let's play this game. For what's at stake here is a 1-win advantage to start the 2018 Quiztacular season with, which could really pretty much seal it for you, buddy. So, we're going to say which games we think, not the ones we want to win, the games that we think will win in each category, and whoever tallies the most will have a 1-win advantage to start in 2018. Okay? Sound good, guys? So I'm going to start at the bottom. And you're going to laugh at a couple of these because they are brought to you by Schick Hydro. Literally in the fucking description. We're going to skip Best Chinese Game.
Call of Duty Online.
Okay. The options are Jury Pick.
No, that's
Monument Valley. JX3. Yeah, we're skipping
Well,
this.
I love JX3. Actually.
So, best state. This is
Battle
also
of Kings. It's Battle of Kings.
This is also bullshit. They actually created a new one specifically for Schick Hydro. It's not best indie game. It's best debut indie game presented by Schick Hydro.
That's so fucking
I was hoping
retarded.
for like the best
They gotta-
shaven
He's got to pay the bills.
protagonist.
He's got to pay the bills.
Fucking Jeff Keighley, you fucking
Best
asshole.
esports team. We're gonna skip.
If anybody should have a take on Schick Hydro,
That's
it
this
should
guy.
be Mr. Turner.
Yeah, bet.
Because I bet you use a Schick Hydro razor on your head.
I'm currently using the what's the 4-bladed one? Is that the?
The Quattro.
It's a Quattro. That's what I'm.
The fact that we know the name of a razor is fucking sad.
Okay.
The fact that I know the name of a razor.
You unshaven men except for the top of your head.
Okay. You guys ready?
Yes.
2017 Game Awards predictions. Best esports game.
No, Jesus.
Rocket League, League of Legends, Dota 2, Counter-Strike Go, or Overwatch.
Oh, Jesus. It's either Rocket League or Overwatch.
I say Rocket League. Let's go left to right. Dave?
Left to right. Dota 2.
Rocket League.
I think I'm gonna go with. Fuck. I think I'm gonna go Rocket League, just because there's so much like good positive vibes coming out from that. And Overwatch has been toxic lately. Toxic as
That-
fuck.
But for
That makes me sad.
But for esports. I
Yeah,
don't
think
know
about
that.
the
The actual sporting of it.
Yep.
I
Okay.
don't know. I'd probably say Rocket League.
trending gamer. We should do this as well because that's a big deal. So they have Stevens. How do you say his last name?
Steven.
He's from Able Gamers.
Spoon.
Spawn. I'm kind of want to vote for him, even though Andre Renee is
Andrea Renee.
in there. So we got Mike Grisick, whatever,
Grisick.
from Shroud.
Oh shit, guys in there.
How do you say his last name? Guy Beam.
Yeah.
Guy Beam, Dr. Disrespect. Clint Lexa from Half Coordinated, or Andrea Renee from. Well, she's from What's Good Games, but she's mainly from Kind of Funny Games now. I will.
That's her channel.
Andrea Renee is
Oh.
a stupid fucking pick.
I'll say Steven Spawn, even though I want Renee to win.
Why do you want fucking Renee to win?
I'm in love with her.
You have such a negative because she was on GameStop TV, right? Like that's
Honestly,
that's,
that's probably the majority.
She's actually very outspoken.
I totally understand, like, but I actually listen to
Which
Kind
has
of
to say.
Funny and
She's
I
legit.
follow her. So my pick is Andrea.
That was like, oh, who the fuck was the chick that made it into Mass Effect?
Oh, Jessica Chobot.
Chobot.
That was
She knows her
Jessica
shit too.
Chobot.
She again. That's
met
another. Yeah.
I met her with my penis. No, I didn't. Not at all. It's before Mel.
Tweet at Jessica Chobot.
Tag her in this video.
So Steven Spawn, Andrew Renee.
I'm gonna probably say Guy Beam, honestly,
Okay.
because he's fucking hilarious. He's
We're
fucking
gonna-
hilarious.
We're gonna skip best student game.
He was
Best
on-
indie game.
oh,
Okay,
shit.
what?
I was gonna say he was on the H3 podcast not too long ago.
Okay.
Lit as fuck.
Best indie game. Pyre
It's got a lot of
from
books.
Supergiant Games. Night in the Woods from Infinite Fall. Cuphead.
Cuphead. I'm just gonna
What
say
Remains of
Cuphead.
Edith Finch or Hellblade.
Cuphead.
I say Cuphead.
That's got a lot of buzz right now. I think Pyre is better reviewed, but Cuphead's probably gonna win. So Cuphead.
How can you get better reviewed than like Borderline fucking Perfect?
Why wasn't that your pick of the year? Like,
Seriously.
what the hell?
I mean, Cuphead.
It's a perfect game.
Cuphead is like Borderline Perfect.
Okay.
As far as
Most
platforming.
most anticipated game presented by McCafe.
What the fuck?
I think this is a good
Best what game?
most anticipated game for 2018. The Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Marvel Spider-Man, or God of War.
I'm gonna say God of War, even though I like Monster Hunter the most out of that entire list.
I will say Spider-Man.
Really?
Not my personal pick. I think
Just overall.
the buzz on that is huge.
Wow, I'm surprised. Like I'm buzzing for all of those games, but Red Dead.
Red Dead and The Last of Us. Next year's gonna be a huge fucking year. And God
We're
of
gonna
War
have
in the
another
spring.
tough one.
Yep. Next year might not be so hands down. Best multiplayer game: Fortnite, Call of Duty World War II, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Destiny 2, or PUBG.
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 As much as I don't want it to be PUBG, it's
PUBG.
PUBG.
Why not?
I don't know. Fight against the machine, man.
Best
You-
sport-
Would you prefer it to be Splatoon? I don't.
No, Splatoon's actually shit this year. Honestly, if I'm being real, Splatoon fucking blew ass this year. Bruh. Hopefully Splatoon 3 fucking tops it off.
Hopefully there won't be a Splatoon 3. No.
Wow, that's fucking... You're going a little farther, Justin. Okay?
Best
It
sports.
sucked this year. Alright?
Sports or racing game: Project Cars 2, Pro Evolution Soccer 2018, NBA 2K18, GT Sport, Forza Motorsport 7, or FIFA 18.
Is there a do not care option?
can
NBA
understand.
Live. No.
Where's
It's
Blitz the
just not
League?
here.
Is Blitz the League on there?
I will say FIFA 18.
I'm gonna say...
Oh, is this worldwide?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I
Because
like
then it's
your
gonna
choice
be FIFA
there.
if it's worldwide.
I like that.
There-
Yeah.
Pro Evolution Soccer is huge too, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the higher rated series right now, but I'm not sure.
PES, really?
I think.
Honestly,
FIFA sells well, like Madden does, but I think Pro Evolution was
what's the actual category?
best sports / racing game.
If I had to choose any of them, I would say Project Cars. Like personally, I would probably like Project
Yeah,
Cars.
like
What's your
all
pick
of them.
though
like
for
that.
the prediction?
That game's-
I'm probably gonna say FIFA, honestly, because I mean, 99.999% of the world plays football.
FIFA.
And yes, I called it
FIFA.
football.
That's a safe bet. I wasn't really thinking about it at first. But
I
yeah.
called it football, not soccer. Yes, you
Best-
heard me
Yeah, you're reaching out.
Okay.
We're
To
gonna be
our
like the
foreign
best
fans.
Yes.
All of them.
correct.
The one person that watches in Alaska, which isn't really foreign, but it's just
He's close enough.
outside the
He's
48.
close enough they can see Russia from the backyard.
Best strategy game. XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, which
Ooh, that's good.
I think DLC should be able to be chosen, especially when it's massive like that. But
yeah,
that's weird because that game came out last year.
that also depends too. Do like X packs for like Final Fantasy Realm Reborn count? Because Stormblood came out and that was fucking awesome.
See if it's nominated. XCOM 2 War of the Children. XCOM 2 War of the Chosen.
War of the Children.
Tooth and Tail. Total War Warhammer 2. Halo Wars 2 doesn't have a chance. Or Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh man,
I say Total War Warhammer 2.
I'm gonna say XCOM.
I don't think it should count actually. We're the chosen. If it has to be based on, if it can't be pulled standalone, I don't think it should
See,
be.
if it's a standalone DLC, it's just a fucking game.
Yeah,
I hate when
That's
people
why-
say that.
that's
Like
why I
Uncharted
said-
The Lost Legacy is a
That's a-
standalone DLC.
that's-
No, it's a fucking
that's a
game.
game.
It's just a game.
It's a very good game.
It's a discount game.
But yeah, but
Sorry.
XCOM is my choice as well.
Okay.
Because XCOM is just really fucking good, honestly.
I have XCOM 2, but I didn't get too deep into it.
As much as I like to shit on some series, they are like legitimately good. Like XCOM, I love to shit on it because I'm not a huge fan of 2K, but like, it happens.
Best family game. Splatoon 2. It's not a family game. Sonic Mania. It's not a family game. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It's not a family
This is
game
the
either.
Nintendo selection.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a family game. And Mario Odyssey is not a family game either. It's a single player game.
It's not.
Ah!
It's family friendly.
Alright. Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario and Rabbids, Sonic Mania, or Splatoon 2. Jesus.
Splatoon 2 is way better than Mario.
I'll say Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Wow, are you fucking dumb? Dude?
No, I'm saying Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, same.
Best fighting game.
There was no good fighting games that came out 2017, so it's gonna be rough.
There were a lot of good ones like Tekken 7, Nidhogg 2, which I'm not into Nidhogg. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite,
I'm surprised that made the list.
Injustice 2, and ARMS.
There really were.
Injustice 2.
If those were the best picks of 2017, that's fucking sad.
Tekken and Injustice
I'm
are
gonna say Tekken.
pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Tekken.
Say Injustice.
Injustice is like just underwhelming. I don't know. I found it underwhelming.
Best role-playing game. South Park, The Fractured But Whole, which was very under the radar, surprisingly. Final Fantasy 15, Divinity Original Sin 2, Nier Automata, or Persona 5.
Oh damn it! That's actually tough.
What will get more votes? That's.
Yeah.
Persona 5 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Persona.
I'm gonna do it as well.
It seems really normie and very obvious, but like
It's
That's
like
what we're doing.
The trick is like, does it get more votes? Because it
Not
was
actually
exclusive to PlayStation. So will
But
it get
everybody
more
has a
than-
PlayStation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like Final Fantasy,
the majority
is
of
on
people
both.
who play games.
Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
PlayStation.
was December 28th, 16 though, and I think so many people are going to disregard games that came out last December.
That
You can also make the argument too. Final Fantasy sold a shitload more on PlayStation than it did on Xbox.
As it should.
and didn't it get released on PC?
It's going
Not
to get
yet.
Going
released
to.
on PC.
Okay.
Best
Which is gonna
action.
be pimp as fuck. I
Yeah.
can't wait for that.
That's a game that needs cries to be on PC. Like that was a damn good game.
That's gonna be
But
fucking weird.
That game needs to be. All right. Best action adventure
Imagine
game.
the mods. Oh my goodness.
Action
It will never
adventure.
be modded. They'll break that.
Action adventure. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Assassin's Creed Origins, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, or Horizon Zero Dawn. Now we're getting into the good stuff.
Zelda, boy. It's gonna be Zelda.
Zelda. I voted
I'm gonna say
Horizon.
Zelda. Best action game: Prey, Neo, Destiny 2,
Neo.
Cuphead, or Wolfenstein 2.
Oh damn.
I say Neo.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Neo too. I love Cuphead, but it's not an action game. It's a platformer. It's like a
I'm not sure about Neo.
I feel like I need to get Prey.
like Cuphead is like borderline shmup.
Don't get it. Get it on PC. Get it on PC.
And I need it for
Neo?
the Xbox collection.
For
The Bethesda collection.
Prey.
Oh, Prey.
Look into how the loading times have done on
Okay.
Xbox.
We'll talk about that
first.
later.
I-
What's your choice?
I heard it. Well, actually, I bought Prey, but I ended up having to do a Steam return
Oh, yeah.
for Prey because it was like ran fucking garbo.
I remember you
on
telling me
PC.
It didn't.
PC, it's always such a
Hit or miss.
hit or miss.
It
You
didn't
gotta-
play well on PS4 either. Like the load times
I-
were
I
ridiculous.
heard the game
Atrocious.
was just underwhelming. But okay, what's your choice? Prey, Neo, Destiny 2, Cuphead, Wolfenstein.
I'm gonna say Destiny 2.
Wow.
Best VR or AR game?
Ooh.
Super Hot VR,
Mm.
Star Trek Bridge Crew, Lone Echo, Echo Arena, Farpoint, or Resident Evil 7.
Oh, that's tough. Because my gut.
I know a lot of people have played Resident Evil in VR though.
I say Super Hot.
I really desperately want to say Super Hot,
I
but
want
like
to as
Resident
well.
Evil's such a good VR experience, though.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking imagine playing that game in VR. I would
Be
shit my
petrifying.
pants.
It'd be petrifying, and that's
Holy
what
fuck.
makes me. I'm gonna say Resident Evil. As much as I love Super Hot way more, I'm gonna say Resident Evil.
Ditto. On loving Super Hot more. Super Hot. I'm saying Super Hot.
Best handheld game: Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World.
That fucking came out on Wii U, for fuck's sake. What the fuck?
Well, the 3DS version came out this
That's
year. Then.
dumb as fuck. It's not. It's the same game.
Monster Hunter Stories,
Ooh,
Metroid: Samus Returns, Ever Oasis. Oh, I forgot that came out.
fuck. Everybody's
Or Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadow of Valentia.
That's tough.
Metroid.
Fire Emblem.
Well, there was Ever Oasis and Monster Hunter Stories. I'm gonna say Ever Oasis.
Best mobile game: Fire Emblem Heroes, Super Mario Run, Old Man's Journey, Monument Valley 2, which I heard was phenomenal, or Hidden Folks.
I'm gonna say Super Mario Run has the most mass appeal.
I'm gonna say Fire Emblem Heroes.
That was pretty niche as far as I know.
Monument Valley 2.
I do hope that comes to consoles eventually, or Switch. Best ongoing game. This is a good category now. Warframe, which has made some huge strides.
It really has.
It's
That latest update was badass.
It's
If there's any
Ring-
time to play Warframe, it's like now, people. Like, for real.
Rainbow Six Siege, which has also seen
Shocking.
massive updates this year.
shocking.
Just announced the season 3.
Fucking Rise
With
from Grace,
zombies.
motherfucker. Jesus.
Overwatch, which had a ton of good content this year as always.
GTA Online.
Grand Theft Auto Online, which has had massive player base.
Not the best received though updates because
Not all
like
of them.
not all of them.
The player base is just enormous though.
Yeah, and
Stays.
it's voracious. The people who play Grand Theft Auto Online spend fucking legit dollars. It's crazy.
Destiny 2 or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
Whenever you throw
actually.
PUBG into the mix, it fucks it up. What's the actual ongoing game?
Best ongoing game.
But it's really not Overwatch though. It is PUBG.
I love Overwatch so much. So.
I love Overwatch.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Grand Theft Auto Online.
I'm gonna say PUBG. It's so hard because PUBG just takes over everything.
I'm gonna stick with Overwatch.
Yeah.
Keep things interesting.
It's just because it's like, I want to say Overwatch so bad, but like,
Okay,
player
we
base
gotta
is
get through
getting
this.
toxic.
Yeah. We're gonna skip games for Impact because I don't know what the fuck that is.
Well, what's the list?
Please knock on my door.
Oh.
Night in the Wood. Yeah, no, we're
Never
skipping
mind.
that.
I don't even know.
Making
what the
a
fuck
host official decision here. Best performance. We're gonna skip that.
But I know those.
You know,
Yes.
you've played that.
I played
from Hellblade.
Hellblade.
Oh, best performance. Oh, I thought it
Performance.
meant like fucking.
Song,
Like
music.
no, like technical performance,
Oh.
like Wolfenstein crashing all that. Okay, best performance.
Wolfenstein.
Melania Juergens from Hellblade as Senua.
Cinema.
The beautiful Laura Bailey as Nadine Ross from Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Claudia Black as Chloe Fraser from Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. She looks way different than I thought she would. Brian Bloom as PJ Blazkowicz in Wolfenstein
That does
2.
not look like BJ. What the fuck? That's weird.
Ashley Birch as Alloy in Horizon Zero Dawn. I will guess Ashley Birch.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ashley Birch as well.
Ash.
She's so cool. Do you remember? Were you with me when I met her?
Yeah,
Or was that you?
No, he wasn't there. It was before his time.
Was it? Okay. I just walked by her. This is before I knew she was gay. And I just walked by her and I'm like, "Hey Ash, what you playing?" And she's like, and I'm like, she's so pretty.
You know Mel watches this, right?
She never watches this far, and I'm allowed to think a gay woman is pretty. Sue me. Best audio design: Destiny 2, Hellblade, Resident Evil 7, Breath of the Wild, or Super Mario Odyssey.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Hellblade.
Best score or music: Destiny 2 can suck my dick. Cuphead can also suck my dick. Nier Automata, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, or Persona 5.
Persona, boy. Like,
I'm
amazing.
very curious of what you would choose.
I say Super Mario Odyssey
Ah,
because
this
that
is-
jazz
this
song is
fun. I like this one.
catchy.
I'm going with Persona.
Best art direction: Destiny 2, Cuphead, Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, or Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's a fucking bad. That's hard, dude.
I say Cuphead.
Because Cuphead is like, it is its art design. That's the hard part.
I think that if for standout, that's why
I want to say Cuphead.
I would say Cuphead
I
as
honestly
well.
want to say Cuphead because like it's the epitome of its art design.
Best narrative: What Remains of Edith Finch, Nier Automata, Hellblade, Wolfenstein 2, or Horizon Zero Dawn.
Wolfenstein 2. Why the fuck is that even on like anything Game of the Year related?
Dude, this. I say Wolfenstein 2.
Wow,
I really like this.
that's a
story,
fucking
though.
reach.
You're not even halfway through.
Though to be fair, you haven't played Nier or Horizon.
That's true. But I'm not guessing.
Yeah.
Just guessing. Oh, you're right. Actually, I say Horizon Zero Dawn just for the point. Then
I think Nier's gonna get that one.
What is it again?
Edith Finch, Nier Automata.
No, I mean like
best
the
story, best
best,
narrative.
Narrative.
best narrative. Yeah, I'm gonna say Nier as well.
Best game direction: Wolfenstein 2, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, or Horizon Zero Dawn.
What's the category again?
Best direction:
Best direction. Oh, Zelda.
Zelda.
Oh,
And here we go, guys. Game of the year:
Zelda.
Zelda: The Breath of the Wild,
We have to go through the rest of them.
Super Mario Odyssey, PUBG, Persona 5, or Horizon Zero Dawn.
And like this is gonna sound super weird.
I say Zelda.
Because I love Zelda so much.
Oh.
But I wish
It is-
Persona would win.
Oh.
Like in a dream scenario, I wish Persona would win just because it would be so fucking off the rails weird and like just crazy and throw everyone through a loop. That I would just love it if Persona won. But I
It would
don't
be
think-
huge. I'm telling you, man. There
that'd
might
be
be
a
something
massive fucking
to
upset.
might be something to splitting the Nintendo vote. because this is the first time any company has ever put out two
10 out
legit
of 10 games.
10 out of 10 style games in the same fucking year. It's definitely the first time Nintendo has ever done it. Jesus, sometimes they only release one big game every 2 or 3 years.
I wish Xenoblade 2 could be on that list of and I wish Xenoblade 2 was good enough to be on that list. And it came out beforehand enough to be on the list.
Alright,
No, I think it's going to be Zelda. I think it would be
Zelda.
hilarious if it was PUBG, though.
I would the salt mines would open up.
Just the amount of people that are already on their PCs, and they're like, oh, I just lost a match, I have to go vote for PUBG.
Dude.
Alright.
The salt mines would open up and start flowing if anybody but Zelda or Mario wins. The salt mines are just gonna...
Oh, I'll be salty as fuck.
I'm
okay. If Mario wins, I think Mario winning would be an upset.
I
Well, I would be happy
alright.
because I'm a Nintendo guy. And it was a great game.
Right.
But
PUBG winning.
if anything,
Fuck.
oh my god.
If PUBG wins,
I would love.
I would shit my fucking pants.
I would love that.
I'm gonna
I
be
love that.
so motherfucking salty.
You'll never play it.
Dude,
Um,
if PUBG won, if a fucking alpha of a game wins,
This will
I'm
will
going to-
destroy you.
This
This
head
is
will
going to be
literally
against
explode.
everything that you believe in.
I would probably start foaming at the mouth and
That's why I want to watch it.
consider suicide. It would be that bad. Legit. It would be
we both have to
fucking
get up early
awful.
that next day. Oh, fuck it, it's a Friday.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, me either. Okay,
Live
so
stream
holy
reactions.
Fuck, dude. That'd be nuts.
thank you for watching Leftover Camps. Thank you for watching all of 2017. If you made it this far, holy shit. This was actually a really good episode, guys. High five. Dave, thank you for joining us. Matt. Zelda is our game of the year. Teddy, we'll see you next year.
We sure will.
Eric, I wonder if you're still watching.
He'd be listening if that was the case. If he
Thank you
decides to
for
show up.
watching our game of the year episode. We'll see you in 2018.
See you
And
later.
hey, if you have a game of the year, leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell us what you think is the best.
Interaction.
Unless it's not Zelda.
It's the way of the future.
Bye.
Bye.